Nice.
Welcome into Ann Arbor, everybody. It's WCBN. Saturday, a 5 o'clock start between the Wolverines and the Terrapins of Maryland. I'm Zach Linfield alongside my partner, Charlie Brigham, and we're back.
We are back. It's been a beautiful day all day today. I mean, it's just scorching hot up near the 80s. Sun was shining all day. It's since retreated behind the clouds. The lights are on for, again, this contest between the Michigan Wolverines and the Maryland Terrapins. It should be a good one.
Well, they're from the east and a bit more south, so maybe they're a bit more used to this kind of weather, but it's 84 degrees right now in Ann Arbor. Should certainly cool down a little bit, but we got to talk about the pitching matchup, and I know you weren't at the game last week on Saturday for Cameron Weston, but he comes in with a 5-3 record, a 2.85 ERA, 66 1/3 innings pitched, 57 Ks and 24 walks. And as you listened to the game last night, what is he going to have to do to cool down the bats of Maryland?
I mean, it's pretty much the same story every single time against a high-octane offense like Maryland. You can't afford to leave balls over to the plate. You got to be just disciplined. Try to hit your corners. The defense has to lock it in, and you can't afford to make mistakes on the defensive end. You're going to have to take advantage of every single out you can against this Maryland team. They've got speed all the way through. Their guys can just rake all the way through. It's going to be a fun one today.
The 6'1", 200-pound sophomore from Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania, and his last time out last Saturday against Indiana in a game that he lost, 13-8 result. The Hoosiers took it from the Wolverines. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs, 1 of them earned, 2 walks, and 4 Ks. He threw just under 100 pitches. And Chris Aline will lead it off for the Terrapins. He's followed by Matt Shaw, Ben Cowles, Randy Bednar Jr., Luke Schliger, Matt Orlando, Tommy Gardner, Troy Schreffler, and Riley Langerman. A swing and a foul back to the left side screen right into the Michigan dugout.
I mentioned speed throughout this Maryland lineup, and Aline is the one that comes to mind. 22 for 25 stolen bases on the year. I mean, the guy can just flat out run.
The 0-1 pitch to Aline is fouled right back at us. And, well, she tried to make a catch with the left hand and to no avail for her, but she's got a souvenir now into the cup holder. There you go. What a way to get a souvenir on the second pitch of the ball game.
I know. Out to an early lead for her, and up in the top row of the stands, the 0-2 is on the way from Weston.
Here's the pitch from the right-hander. Swung on and missed. He sits him down. 1 up, 1 down in the inning for the Terps, and that'll bring up Matt Shaw, one of the most talented freshmen in the Big Ten, and the team leader in batting average.
Yeah, great job there by Weston, just getting out to an early advantage and getting yourself going, just building up a little bit of momentum. Aline is a really good hitter, and sitting him down early for his now 39th strikeout of the season has got to be a great confidence booster.
Second straight game for Aline, striking out in the leadoff spot. He ended up having a great night last night. Went 2 for 4. Here's a strike on the outside corner to Shaw, and Weston waiting no time to throw into the strike zone. And, well, that's literally what you just said pregame for Weston to do. The 0-1 pitch from him. Swung and chopped foul towards the left side. Mofetta will range over.
Shaw is just a textbook two-hitter. 342 batting average. He has 12 doubles on the season for a .523 slugging percentage. He doesn't have too much deep ball power, no triples, 5 home runs on the year, but he's going to knock runs in. 26 RBIs and 51 hits this season.
The 0-2, wind up on the way from Weston. He dribbles one towards Malfetta at the hot corner, has to bobble it, throws across. Jimmy Overtop jumps up, misses the catch, and it rolls back promptly to him. Matt Shaw reaches on a throwing error from Christian Malfetta.
Yeah, that throw obviously botched, sails way over the head, but Shaw might have been safe either way. He's got speed, and he showed it off there. Malfetta kind of took his time and let the ball play him a little bit over at third base. Didn't really try to come up and field that one on the run. He let it come back to him. He was deep in the hole, like you said, and that's a tough throw for anybody, and especially with the speed, putting pressure on him.
Big-time power at the plate now in the form of Benjamin Cowles, the Big Ten leader in home runs. He averages a home run every other game for the best rate in the Big Ten. That ranks number 5 total in the country. Last night, unfortunately for him, went 0 for 5, still had an RBI walk, but he struck out 3 times.
This should just show you how productive a hitter he is. He went 0 for 5 yesterday, still hitting .296.
The 0-0 pitch with Matt Shaw. down there at first base. Cowles will foul one off towards the Ray Fisher parking lot down the first base line. Counts 0-1.
Shaw 6 stolen bases on the season. You know, we can get around the bases. The thing you mentioned with Cowles, that absolute monstrous power, 16 home runs on the season. Doing what a true 3-hitter should.
And we can at least see why he leads the Big Ten in home runs. Any hack that he takes is a big one. Even on that foul ball that looked not much, and there's the same exact pitch, same exact result, foul balled on the right field line. It's a big swing from the right-hander who stands probably the furthest back in the batter's box that you can go, with his feet standing right next to each other. And a big power leg kick like that will show you the power that a batter has.
It's not the stereotypical, you know, third baseman or first baseman with all the power. It's the shortstop for Maryland.
There's a pitch inside, almost grazes the knees of Cowles, and it's a 1-2 count.
I think the most impressive stat for Cowles, we keep mentioning these home runs, but he's hit 16 long balls on the season, has only walked 15 times.
So maybe not much patience at the plate. He's a big swinger. If we had to kind of compare the statistics a little bit, leads the team in the Big Ten in home runs, I'd like to say a little bit of Giancarlo Stanton in the way in which he strikes out. This ball gets away from Mazur. Heading down to second base standing is Shaw, and Maryland threatening here in the first inning to get going.
No, I would agree with that comparison wholeheartedly. 48 strikeouts on the season, but 16 home runs. It's a lot of high-risk, high-reward kind of swings. It's kind of guy you don't want to leave fastballs down the plate because he's going to punish you for it. Got it? Just batter him with your off-speed stuff and try really hard to hit your spots and locate well. Runner now in scoring position with the speed of Shaw over there on second base. The 2-2 count.
Weston works from the far left side of the rubber in the stretch. Messing with him at second base is Burton. Here's the pitch on a 2-2 count as he officially takes time in the box. Out of 143 at-bats on the season for Cowles, he struck out 48 times.
Cowles didn't like how long Weston was taking. Called time at the last second. That's kind of dangerous. He'd already started his motion. Luckily, his arm wasn't moving.
And a lot of the time, it results in some kind of wild pitch that you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. Shaw's running. It's a foul ball. Cowles just got the end of it. Shaw had a good jump on it. And for anyone keeping score at home, that dribbler by Shaw towards Malfetta was a hit and not counted as an error. As like you said, Charlie, he may have gotten down the line in time anyway.
Yeah, Shaw was practically at first base by the time that throw sailed over the head of Obertop over there. Mazur, fortunate that Cowles made contact with that one. Shaw got a really good jump and might have stolen third base just straight up there.
Shaw has stolen 6 bags on the season. He's 6 for 10. He's been caught stealing 4 times. Here's a swing and a miss. Running down to first will be Cowles, easily throwing it Mazur to Obertop. Second strikeout of the inning for Cameron Weston.
High risk, high reward, like we said. Strikeout number 49 now on the season for Cowles. He starts off the day 0-1.
That'll bring up Randy Bednar Jr. He bats .316 on the season with 3 homers. 6 doubles, not much speed in the box, no triples. Although he does have 10 stolen bags. He's knocked in 17 RBIs. There's a breaking ball inside for Weston. I believe we just saw the changeup from him. High inside corner, called strike.
Weston's done a really nice job of hitting the corners and just trying to keep these Maryland hitters on their toes, not really sticking to one pitch too much, doing a nice job changing speeds and changing locations.
The 0-1 count pitch, Weston throws back to second base where Burton promptly stands, sliding in safe is Shaw.
Weston and Burton a little bit, seems like they're a little bit out of sync there. Michigan was gearing up for what looked like a backdoor pickoff move. Burton broke it just about a second before Weston, kind of a timing sort of play. Not on the same page.
0-1 count on Bednar. Here's the pitch from Weston. Good block by Mazur. Can't find it. Time in the box. It's a 1-1 count.
Very important to keep Shaw on second base here with his speed and This is something we've mentioned before on these broadcasts. The distance between home plate and the backstop. Anybody with decent speed on third base can score on a pass ball pretty easily.
I think even I could score on a pass ball.
Yeah, give me a good jump. I think I could make it home. Might be a bang-bang play, but...
The 1-1 count pitch to Bednar from Weston. Outside corner ball. Just missed. Home plate umpire Harry Greer's strike zone. Steph Linton's at first base, and last night's home plate umpire Jeff Doy stands out there at second with his hands on his hips.
Weston wanted that one. Took a quick second to ask the home plate umpire where that one was. He said it just missed a little bit outside.
The 2-1 pitch, glove hangs at the belt buckle of Weston. Curveball just missed again for a strike, and Weston again looks at home plate umpire Harry Greer, asking him, what's your strike zone like? That's 2 straight now that have been right there, and apparently have just been a hair outside of his strike zone.
Those ones just missing, but 2 really good pitches. Went fastball outside, then right back with the off-speed inside. As I said, changing speeds and changing locations.
The 3-1 pitch is swung on and missed, and Mazer hasn't necessarily been able to follow the pitches very well so far from Weston. There's been multiple drops beyond the plate. Thankfully, he hasn't missed any of those. He's missed one of them that resulted in a wild pitch on Weston's part, which moved Matt Shaw to second base. But he's been dropping quite a few behind the plate so far.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a little bit of miscommunication between signs or Mazer just isn't reading the ball well out of Weston's hand.
Mazer with a good block there. Bednar will take a walk down to first base. It was a fastball in the dirt. That'll bring up the designated hitter, Luke Schliger.
Mazer kind of makes us eat our words there with that nice slide to the right hand and blocking that ball. She said it will bring up the freshman, hitting only 196 on the season, but he's hitting 229 with 2 outs.
18 total hits out of 92 total at-bats. Patient batter up there with 14 walks. First pitch is fouled back towards Yost Ice Arena, right behind home plate. Counts 0-1 against Schliger.
As I said, hitting only 196, but he's got some power. Slugging percentage up over 300 at 315. He's got 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs out of his 18 hits on the season. Scored 15 runs.
Here's the 0-1 pitch from Weston upcoming. Swing and a miss. A high breaking ball got him to wave right through it. Weston's ahead 0-2 in the count.
Just take advantage of the younger hitter up there at the plate. That breaking ball high in the zone and sitting at only about 83 miles an hour. Schliger took a big old hack at that one and came up empty.
Schliger batting for Bobby Zmarzlak, who was the designated hitter last night. Here's a chop towards the second baseman Burton, and he apparently caught it on a line and did not have to throw over to Jimmy Overtop, and that will be the end of the top of the first inning. And Michigan will have Christian Malfetta, Clark Elliott, and Jimmy Overtop leading off the inning for the Wolverines, and that'll bring up Jason Savakul. And from what you know, what do you know about Mr. Savakul?
Well, Savakul, he's an interesting case out there on the mound. I mean, you've got his stats sitting at 6'1", 200 pounds, the freshman from Baldwinsville, New York. Last start, 5 for 15 in the W against Purdue. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 run, 3 strikeouts. I mean, looking at his stats, his record sits at 7-1. You think he would be, the ace for this Maryland team, but it's not. It doesn't really seem like that. Only 63 innings pitched, as I said, 43 total strikeouts. But on a team as good as Maryland and their great offensive production, your pitchers don't have to be the best.
The freshman is a 3-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. As he's given the signs to his catcher on what he's going to throw, we'll be able to see what kind of pitches Mr. Savakul has with that 7-1 record. Also impressive. Then you look at his ERA, and it's 4.69. So you have to think that Maryland's put up some pretty good run support for Savakul all year. And in the last start out, back on May 15th, that W against the second worst team in the Big Ten, Purdue, that 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 run. So he allows good contact. He also allows quite a few base runners. He also walked 2 in that ball game, but he's got some stamina as well. 114 total innings or pitches in that last game. But the Maryland defensive unit comes out as Bednar in left, Aline in center, Schreffler in right, Gardner at third base, Cowles at short, Shaw at second, Orlando at first, and Riley Langerman is behind the plate today instead of Vogt, who homered 2 times last night, so kind of have to wonder what the decision was to take him out of the lineup. But Michigan's lineup looks so. Christian Malfetta will bat first, Clark Elliott will follow, Jimmy Obertop will be the 3-hitter today, Benjamin Sims will bat cleanup, Ted Burton 5th, Mazer 6th, Tito Flores will be 7th, Jordan Rogers 8th, and the hero from last night in the 9th inning, Joey Velasquez will bat 9th, and we'll get to why he's a hero when he gets up to the plate later. But as of right now, it's Christian Malfetta, who had a chance to win the game for the Wolverines last night, ended up striking out there in the 9th in Michigan's extra inning loss. He waves and misses through the first one from Savakul.
Savakul's locked in. He was sitting there in his stance up on the mound as Malfetta took his time, knocks off the turf from his cleats, and now finally settles back in for pitch number 2.
He lays down a bunt down the right field line, and it will end up heading foul as him and Savakul had to do the tango to get out of the way of each other. It's an 0-2 count on Malfetta.
You mentioned Savakul's ERA sitting almost at 5 at 4.69. The kid's got a lot of raw talent. As we said, he's only a freshman, and he looks just real lanky. His jersey and the rest of his uniform almost look baggy on him up there at the mound.
Same way it looked on me.
Kid's got some stuff, though. Throws at about 93. He's let up 6 homers on the year, so you know he struggles with command a little bit, but the kid's got a long future ahead of him for the Terrapins.
The 0-2 count pitch was fouled off. Malfetta stays alive. The pitch was low and outside. Bit of an awkward start to his windup. The right foot's on the mound. The left foot is in front of it by about a foot. The glove hangs in front of his face. The 0-2 is low. Malfetta leaves it. Counts 1-2.
You could just kind of tell that Savakul is a younger guy sitting up there on the mound.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Malfetta. He checks his swing. Did not go. They won't even check the first base umpire. Savakul will have to pick up the Rosenbag, and after missing on 2 straight pitches, going back to attack Christian Malfetta.
Looks like that one might have hit the handle for a foul ball on that last pitch.
There's a ball outside. Count is now full at 3-2.
Malfetta's walked 22 times this season. Patient up there at the plate, just as you want your leadoff hitter to be.
The Stanford transfer settles in, chops one towards the third baseman, Gardner. Gardner bobbles it, throws across the field to Orlando, who's at first base, and by a step, they get Christian Malfetta 1 up, 1 down.
Gardner dropped that, and looked like from up here he bounced it off his own chest back into his hand before making the throw. A nice strong throw across the diamond to get Malfetta. Malfetta doesn't have the most speed, but it was a close bang-bang play after Gardner fumbled around with it a little bit, but that will bring up Clark Elliott.
Something about playing third base today and bobbling balls in the first inning. As both Malfetta and Gardner were unable to handle the ball at the first glance that they had at it, and Elliott swings and misses on the first pitch that counts 0-1.
Very similar instances. The ball takes a huge hop right up off the turf.
That ball is way inside.
Yeah. As I was saying, this turf, if you hit a ball really hard down in the ground like that, it's going to rocket up into the air. The difference between the play that Gardner made as opposed to the one we saw last inning is Gardner came up on that one and didn't wait for it to take that second hop. So even he fumbled it around a little bit, but still had time to make the throw over there towards first base.
Elliott was 0 for 4 last night, although he walked twice. And this ball hits Harry Greer right on the foot. And I think it got him exactly where his padding isn't.
Yeah, the padding sits mostly on top of the foot, but he's reaching down. Looks like he got him
maybe
sort
in
of
the
towards
ankle.
The side or the ankle. That's
the ball, the ankle.
yeah, that's tough. I don't care who you are, that one's gonna hurt. See a lot of hitters shifting towards wearing that protector on the front foot to try to cover their shin and their foot, and some do go down and cover that front part of the ankle. The umpire not as lucky in that situation.
Well, I feel like we've always got to give a shout out to Dylan Stanton, who is probably the biggest hustle freshman of the team. He has to always run the balls out to whoever the home plate umpire is, and he's back at it again today.
We mentioned it back in that Indiana series, just paying your dues.
The freshman hazing for the Wolverines, I suppose, has to bring the balls out to the umpire as Savakul misses outside. Count is now 3-1, a hitter's count for Clark Elliott.
Great position to be in if you're Elliott here.
Here's a swing and a line on the ground. Cowles picks it up, throws across to Orlando. 1 up, 2 up, 2 down, that is, as Elliott's retired.
He got the pitch he wanted, a 93-mile-an-hour fastball from Savakul, just couldn't seem to find a gap. Hard hit ground ball, but right to Cowles, just dropped down to that knee, as you said. That'll bring up over top with hopes of getting Michigan started here in the bottom of the first.
Well, I'll tell you what, Savakul wastes no time as he misses outside with the fastball at 93 in just about a half. He wastes no time. Once the batter gets into the batter's box, he is ready to go. Kind of saw that last week with the Indiana pitchers as well. Obertop chops one back right to the fence, and I'm weird when it comes to being a pregame stuff. I was here for batting practice, and I swear Obertop hit 4 or 5 home runs out of the 10 swings that he took. Massive power and BP for Obertop. And there's that power swing as it goes right back to the screen again. The count's now 1-2. Savakul tossing to Obertop.
As we mentioned with Cowles, it's kind of that high-risk, high-reward kind of swing. Overtop 9 home runs on the season, but 47 strikeouts. He's swinging big, swinging for the fences, but when he comes up empty, it's almost embarrassing.
1-2 count against Obertop. He stays alive with the bad swing. Still made contact back towards right field. Count remains at 1-2. You'd have to think that was probably a slide piece there from Savakul that got Obertop to reach almost all the way into the left-handed batter's box. The righty just happened to get a piece of it and stayed alive. 1-2. Swing and a base hit right field. Lines down, and Schreffler's got to come over. Scoops it up, tosses in, and Obertop's on base for the first hit of the afternoon for the Wolverines.
That one's scorching off the bat of Jimmy Obertop. Exit velo of 104 on the line drive to right field.
That was just a good job of getting his hands out towards the left-handed batter's box. I don't think that would have been a strike, but at 93 miles an hour, his hands had to be really quick and just shot at Oppo.
First time we're going to see Savakul work from the stretch here. The first base runner in the bottom of the first inning. It's Obertop with Benjamin Sems up at the plate.
Sems rolls one towards the third baseman Gardner. Easy throw across the diamond, and Sems is on the bench again. Last night, Sems was 1 for 6, so not necessarily the night that you'd want for your cleanup hitter, but he rolls out to Gardner. Michigan's bottom half of the inning, that is now over, with ground outs 2 to the third baseman and 1 to the shortstop.
That'll bring us to the top of the second with 6, 7, 8, 9 due up for the Terrapins. It's going to be Orlando batting 6th, Gardner 7th, Schreffler, the right fielder, batting 8th, and rounding it out is number 9, Langerman.
Cameron Weston, who in the first inning struck out 2 and then got a weak line out to the second baseman, will have to go back to work. And although he was maybe shelled a little bit last week against Indiana, the start that he had against Michigan State back on May 8th, 9 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, and he struck out 9. So although he did get out of a bit of a jam there in the first inning, which Cameron Weston are we going to have to see here? What does he have to do to get back to those Michigan State numbers, do you think?
I mean, honestly, you said he got out of a bit of the jam. He let up 2 base runners, but I thought he looked really good in that first inning. I mean, tallied 2 strikeouts against 2 very good hitters. I mean, everybody in this Maryland lineup, you know they can hit the ball and hit it well. But 2 strikeouts, and the one that went out that wasn't a strikeout wasn't hit all that hard. Maryland's yet to make real solid contact against him. Again, too early to tell. We've only seen him through 1 inning of work, so maybe by the end of this inning, we'll see what Cameron Weston we're dealing with. But up to the plate now steps Orlando, a 188 hitter on the season, only 12 hits, in addition to 10 strikeouts. Has a decent amount of power. Slugging percentage sitting at .313, 2 doubles and 2 home runs.
And he's been filling in for the injured Maxwell Costas, who's again inactive today.
First pitch is hit hard on the ground towards Sems. Fields it on the run. Throw sidearm all the way across the diamond and gets out number one. Nice efficient out for Cameron Weston there. One pitch, one out here in the top of the second.
Well, a lot of the matter sometimes for Weston is keeping that pitch count down, and the first inning pitch count was up there at 21, and with 22 after the first batter, you need some low pitch count innings to stay in games longer.
Yeah, that one really fortunate for him, like you said, keeping that pitch count down. Gardner will step up to the plate now, the third baseman. Takes a big leg kick as he watches pitch number one go by. Low and outside.
Last weekend, he was 5 for 9 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs scored in that sweep of Purdue.
The 1-0 catches the outside corner. Nice 92-mile-an-hour fastball there by Weston. The count will even out 1-1. Something we talk about a lot is these Michigan uniforms today, rocking the white pinstripes, Maryland in the all gray with the red stirrups. The 1-1. Again, catches that outside corner. Great off-speed pitch there from Weston, dropping almost 10 miles an hour.
They've got to have all kinds of stirrups over there, as many colors as they sport. And last night they rocked the black. This time it's the red, and who knows, maybe tomorrow they'll surprise us and come with the yellow.
The 1-2 swung on and popped up towards right field, covering a lot of ground is Elliott, but it's going to drop down just about 10 feet shy of the line.
That's probably, in my couple of games I've called this year, that's got to be the weakest base hit that I've seen. It was a Texas League blooper, is literally the definition of that. It dropped right in between Overtop and Elliott in the one place a Michigan player wasn't standing, and they got a runner on with one out in the inning.
Hey, get it done however you can. Maryland has a base runner as Garden reaches safely. That'll bring up the right fielder, Schreffler. Hitting .308 on the season, one of the more productive bats in this Maryland lineup. He takes a big swing on pitch number one. The fastball low and inside just gets blown by him. Weston, not phased after giving up that base hit, comes right back at him.
Schreffler, who was pinch hit for last night in the top of the 11th inning, Tucker Flint ended up coming in, was a runner at third base when Jordan Rogers made the catch in center field. It was unable to reach home quick enough. Man, I know you weren't here, but I know we talked about it a little bit pregame that Jordan Rogers was standing right behind the block M in center field at about 290 feet. Center field here is 395 for the fence. Schreffler tagged up, so did the runners at second and first, and he kind of jogged home, expecting to score easily, and Jordan Rogers made the catch for the second out in the outfield off the bat of Matt Shaw, and then the two runners both went, and he threw out the runner at second. Ted Burton placed the tag.
Quick throw over towards first base, just trying to keep Gardner close over there. But yeah, as you were saying, an interesting play there in that last inning. Schreffler obviously didn't hustle home, so didn't score before the double play was turned, as the 1-1 is hit soft on the ground. It gets past the pitcher, Weston. It's going to be a tough throw on the run. Bang, bang play, and first base umpire Stephen Linton calls him out. Burton did a nice job coming from deep second base to field that one. Still in the grass, just right behind the pitcher's mound.
And Burton ran a country mile almost all the way back into the Michigan dugout over there on the left field side, but hey, it's an out.
Weston finished all the way over towards that left side and then had to fall down and threw his bare hand at it as the ball wasn't hit too hard, but hit right back over the pitcher's mound. It's going to be 2 outs for Langerman as he steps to the plate. Runner still on second base. Michigan was unable to get the lead runner as pitch number 1 goes by. Called ball 1.
Yeah, Langerman didn't start last night. Instead, it was Justin Vogt, who went 2 for 6 with 3 RBIs and 2 home runs. He's not in the lineup here today.
The 1-0 catches the outside corner at 93 miles an hour. Weston battling right back. Maryland, although they have 2 outs, still in a position to put some runs on the board. Gardner over on second base. Not the most speed, but definitely an athlete over there on bag number 2.
Well, he's gotten 1 start in each of the last 5 weekends, so him and Vogt split time.
Great pick there from Mazer behind the plate. Slid over on that left knee towards the left-handed batter's box, picked it backhand, and came up ready to gun Gardner out as if his lead had been pretty much any bigger.
Mazer's gotten on it a little bit now compared back to the first inning where Weston was bouncing some in and Mazer dropped a couple of low fastballs from Weston. They kind of got crossed up on their paths a little bit.
2-1 on the way to Langerman. This one hit hard foul. Ricochets off the net above the Maryland dugout and back into play. Count will be 2-2.
Another good turnout. And Ray Fisher for another beautiful day, and the sun's not out, so probably no sunburns, but again, we have a ton of people just watching the game down the right field line.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't ask for better weather sitting at mid-80s. We're sweltering up here in the broadcast booth, but can't complain.
Because we got to keep that door open.
Goes low, so the count will go full. Two outs, full count here for Langerman. Yeah, I'd much rather it be hot than be shivering as I'm trying to call this game.
Well, you know in Ann Arbor it can happen both ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Weston shakes off 2 signs, now says yes to the third. The delivery on full count rings him up, gets him looking great. Fastball on the outside corner to sit Langerman down.
Really couldn't have placed that one any better.
Yeah, just great full count pitch there from Weston, not being scared to go right at the 9-hitter. We're going to head to bottom 2. We're still scoreless here. Live from Ray Fisher Stadium, you're listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan baseball.
I think this is one of the most interesting conversations that probably a kid and their parents and a coach can have. And at least for the case of Langerman, I read it in his profile that he's a JUCO product. Talk about JUCO bandits doing anything that they can to get to a higher level of baseball. And let's just say, hypothetically, you were a guy, Charlie, that wasn't necessarily top-tier D1 material, I mean, like the Big Ten, the SEC, the Pac-12, the big guns. But you were good enough to go probably like the lowest mid-major level of D1 baseball. But you think your potential could be much higher than that. Do you go to a JUCO school and transform yourself for a year or two and then go to the big leagues at D1 level? Or do you just go to that maybe lower D1 school?
Honestly, for anybody who's going to play a sport in college, you gotta have an incredible love for the game. You're going to devote countless hours, hundreds of hours of your life to your craft and to your team. So it really just depends on, where you think the team is, or whether or not you think the team is going to appreciate you. If you think that you can go to, a smaller mid-major school and have success and become the player that you want to be, and your team's going to be, grateful of you and use you to help that team win, then go right ahead. But, there's always the conversation of people just get caught up on that D1 name,
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter. I'm sure there are plenty of players, in Division II, Division III, JUCO even, that are better all-around players than, somebody in playing Division I ball. It really just comes down to, playing where you're going to succeed. Don't get caught up in the name. Play where they want you.
There you go. Well said.
I have very strong feelings on that whole thing.
Oh, goodness.
Fresh count to Ted Burton. First pitch. Curveball that just drops in, but missing looks like a little bit high. That one at just 75 miles an hour, way slower than the 93-mile-an-hour fastballs we've seen from Savakul. He lobs that one over the head of Ted Burton. Burton was sitting there calling timeout. I guess Savakul wasn't paying attention. I mean, Burton had his hand up the whole time.
Went for the eephus.
Obviously doesn't count. Pitch number 2, fastball rides inside. 2-0 hitters count for Ted Burton when he steps back in.
I'd say that's one of the advantages of having a baggy jersey. You get hit and don't even know it.
Big cut from Burton on 2-0. Michigan's done a really nice job of that so far in this contest. Just, anticipating what pitches are coming based on the count and trying to get after him. He saw the 2-0 count and was thinking fastball as he watches that one go by. Hits the inside corner. Count will even out 2-2. Savakul just battling back here. He's got a very good hitter on the ropes. 2-2. Swung on, hit hard down the line on third base. It's going to go all the way to the wall. Burton's going to have 2, maybe more. Slows up and just walks into second base for a stand-up double. As you said, Teddy Two Bags does it again.
How about it? And Bednar seemed to have had maybe a little bit of trouble grabbing the ball out of the corner there, and if he would have taken a second or two more, Teddy Two Bags could have turned it into Teddy Three Bags, but promptly stands now at second with no outs, and Griffin Mazer, who was 4 for 6 last night, takes a plate for Michigan. The UC Irvine transfer has been all that for the Wolverines.
Burton continuing his campaign. First pitch to Mazer's foul, way back over towards the parking lot. Burton now hitting .374 for this Wolverines team. Sitting over on second base, we've seen him so many times before.
And that's why he was named Big Ten Player of the Week last week.
Griffin Mazer up there at the plate, 6 home runs and 32 RBIs on the season. Great position to be in if you're the Wolverines. As he swings on the 0-1 and launches it over towards the Maryland bullpen.
That was a real big slice off the bat from Mazer into the bullpen. Kind of looked like it was that same blooper that was hit last inning by the Terps. Instead, it ended up slicing just pretty much like my golf shot. Man, I'm terrible at golf. Can you golf?
I slice the ball like no tomorrow. I have to basically face the opposite direction to play my own slice. 0-2 to Mazer's, high and outside at 93 miles an hour for ball number 1. Savakul still's got Mazer on the ropes, way out in front in this count. It sits 1-2.
I'll tell you what, Harry Greer's got a pretty tight strike zone behind the plate today.
Yeah, not too much room to work with as Mazer swings on this one and curves it towards the right field corner. Burton's going to hold up at third base as the ball goes into the glove of the second baseman, Shaw. An awkward kind of play there. I mean, had Burton taken off right away, I think he would have scored easily. That ball was deep in the right field corner. Schreffler had quite a way to go to get over to it. But Burton was playing real close to second base and hoping to tag, I guess, if he got there in time.
Yeah, I was going to say, Schreffler was playing pretty far away from the line there. I mean, what would you say? It was about 10, 12 feet away from the foul line where the ball ended up landing for Mazer. And again, another corner shot at Ray Fisher Stadium, but yeah, not sure exactly why Burton was unable to score there. I wasn't really looking at third base to see if he was coming around. Just more looking at where the ball was.
However, back-to-back doubles for the Wolverines, Burton and Mazer. So it's going to be no outs and 2 runners in scoring position. Burton on third base, Griffin Mazer over on second as Tito Flores steps to the plate.
Michigan's done a great job of tracking Savakul's fastball so far. The curveball they haven't really been on. But the 2 hits now in this inning were both opposite field shots off fastballs on the outside portion of the plate that Mazer and Burton both ended up shooting.
First pitch to Flores. Curveball that just floats over his head. Langerman behind the plate had to jump up towards his left hand to reel it in.
And Tito didn't even have to crouch down any. He just stood there and almost took it in the noggin.
As you mentioned, Michigan is doing a nice job throwing their hands at balls, letting Savakul's velocity do the work for him. Tito hits this one hard down the third baseline. The third baseman makes a beautiful play and rifles it across the diamond. Dove to his backhand, landed about a foot from third base. Gardner got up, threw it across the diamond, and Tito Flores is not a slow baseball player. Made a great throw to get him over there to keep Michigan from loading the bases. Even better play to keep Michigan from scoring a run. I mean, even if he hadn't made that out at first base, it was a great defensive play no matter what, because that ball was hit pretty hard. It would have definitely scored one, if not both.
Playing even with the bag at third base is Gardner. Jeez.
First pitch up and in towards the
These
head
inside
of Jordan
pitches.
Rogers. Savakul struggles with control a little bit on the inside portion. I mean, he's been able to hit his spots really well on the outside. It's just has a little bit of trouble throwing inside. Don't know if it's nerves or just lack of control. That one gets past the catcher, Langerman, and the run is going to reach safely. So Michigan out to an early lead. Burton scoring on the pass
Right
ball.
on cue.
Mazer advances to third base.
Pretty much right on cue, like you said, Charlie. He was locating his outside pitches really well, and Michigan was using their hands quite well to counter that and ended up knocking 2 base hits. And then he missed on an outside pitch. They went back to the backstop, and Michigan now leads at 1-0.
Langerman got back to that one pretty quick, but just too far as that pitch rides up and in. Rogers has now seen 3 pitches, 2 of them at his head. He sits with a 3-0 count. Velasquez over there in the on-deck circle.
And I'd be all take here if I'm Rogers, and the next pitch could lay down a sac bunt if needed. Well, it's not needed anymore.
Yeah, all take, as you said. That one, again, low and outside. So he's going to trot on down to first base. It's going to be only 1 out and runners on the corners. Mazer on third, Rogers on first, as Joey Velasquez steps to the plate.
And Rob Vaughn is going to have to go and have a talk with Jason Savakul, and, well, it's a hero from last night. Joey Velasquez promptly earns the right in the 9th spot of the lineup to be the designated hitter. And the story from last night, he came in as a pinch hitter and went 2 for 3. And the biggest hit of his young career, he's a sophomore here at Michigan. He's a multi-sport athlete, also plays football, had 2 pull shots. I guess he's a lefty. I was going to say opposite field. But he had 2 hits, 1 to center and 1 to right field. The last one in the bottom of the 9th inning capped Michigan's 5-run rally to tie the game at 8 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and no one expected it.
No, as you said, 2-sport athlete. Kid, obviously crazy athletic, and being able to see production in 2 different sports at this high of a level is just incredibly impressive.
That was a great game last night, too.
Yeah, like you said, great game. Velasquez only 3 hits on the season, 2 of them coming last night.
Well, his average was coming into that game was 100-something, and low 100s. It's 273 now, so it can show you what 2 hits can do if you're batting average without much of a quantity to do before.
Savakul quick throws over to first base, trying to keep Rogers close. Rogers, he has speed. 5 stolen bases on the season. Was caught stealing 3 times.
One of those stolen bases was a free one last night.
Yep. Velasquez settling back in. Yet to see a pitch from Savakul. Throws over again. The throw would have had him if it was on the bag. The throw low and outside towards the left foot of Orlando.
They are really trying to keep him honest. Last night there was 3 straight throws over to first base to keep Rogers there.
Velasquez still waiting for his first pitch. Sees it now. Missing high and outside. Fastball sitting just under 91 miles an hour.
And Rogers was about a quarter of the way down the line, trying to fool with the head of Savakul to maybe trying to ignite a throw from the catcher.
Velasquez all take on that one as it rides inside for a called strike. Savakul took a little bit off of that one, just trying to locate here. Count sits at 1-1. Runner still on the corners, only 1 out. Top of the order, Christian Malfetta on deck.
No homers on the season, but he's a linebacker for the football team, so I'll tell you what, he's got plenty of power.
Yeah, just brute strength over there. Throw over again.
Man, by a hair.
Close play. Great move from Savakul. It's quick, and he has the velocity to deliver to the plate, so he's got it to throw over to first base. They try again.
Rogers wasn't even off the bag yet.
Savakul obviously frustrated with that 4-pitch walk over to Rogers. This one might be personal. The 1-1. High and outside. Velasquez didn't even have to think about that one. The catcher, Langerman, jumped up into that right-handed batter's box to keep another ball from making its way to the backstop. Mazer sitting comfortably over there on third. It didn't like he has any intent of moving unless Velasquez hits him home here.
Or another wild pitch, because right now Savakul has little to no control over any of his pitches, it seems.
Takes a few looks over at first base. Now the delivery. The 2-1 hit hard in the gap between left center field. 1 run's going to score. Rogers rounding second, now rounding third. Going to be a close play at the plate. And Rogers is going to reach safely. Velasquez, do it again. Why not? A 2 RBI double. And the campaign continues.
You gotta be kidding me, man. This kid's incredible. Not many reps this season for Joey Velasquez. Then he comes in and, like we talked about it, he earned a spot at 9th in today's ball game, playing designated hitter. He typically plays the outfield if he does play the field, which has been little to no times this season, as Maryland will now run a guy down to the bullpen because Savacool's getting roughed up a bit here in the second inning.
Runner still in scoring position as Velasquez sits on second base with the leadoff pitcher, Christian Malfetta, up at the plate now. Velasquez goes, nifty slide, and they're going to say he got him. They're going
He
to say
swam right over the arm of Gardner, but
going to say they tagged him up near the chest. That was a close play. I mean, great throw by Langerman. Velasquez, to be fair, was caught dead in his tracks. If he hadn't pulled out that nifty slide, he would have been out long before third base. So what was a runner in scoring position with only 1 out is now 2 outs with nobody on for Christian Malfetta. Swings on the 1-1 pitch over towards second base. Deep in the hole is Shaw, and he makes the play.
I'll tell you what, even though that was a ground out, it was more hard contact again across the far side of the plate as he grounded that one hard towards Matt Shaw.
I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Jason Savacool back out there. Michigan puts up 3 runs in the bottom of the second to take a 3-0 lead. And Joey Velasquez doing it again. The 2-run double into the left center gap. I mean, the kid is on a tear right now.
He absolutely is, and that hit in the 9th inning last night was also for 2 RBIs. It scored Jake Marty all the way from second base. But talk about an unexpected hero for the Wolverines. I don't know.
I'm frankly speechless. Like, I don't know. The kid's just playing really well. I mean, baseball is one of those sports where if you get hot, you're going to be feeling yourself. And Velasquez is doing just that.
I'm questioning what the decision is from Coach Eric Bakich to put him into the game last night in such an unlikely spot. And I was talking with my partner Nick Muskaric last night about, did Michigan have a better option to pinch hit for him in the 9th inning with the bases juiced like that?
You know,
and I said they rode with them. They rode with what they believed apparently was their guy.
Bakich just a really great coach. He knows his players and
trust.
Yeah, exactly. That's really all it comes down to is just that trust, like you said. There's a similar situation in a game I was calling early in the season. Michigan softball game was a close game against Northwestern for battle for the top of the Big Ten, and Coach Carol Hutchins took out starting second baseman Julia Jimenez and pinch hit Chandler Dennis, who is typically a pitcher for Michigan, only has 3 career at-bats coming into that contest. Put her into pinch hit. Alex Drain and myself were questioning it up in the broadcast booth. First pitch she sees, rips a double down the opposite field line and scores 2 runs. So I guess they just got some kind of sixth sense when it comes to these sort of things.
And that tight strike zone showed off again for Harry Greer as that one misses just high to Chris Aline, the leadoff batter for the Terps. And I will say I'm a fan of their uniforms today. I'm not a big fan of grays, but this one's got me.
I'm a sucker for stirrups. I don't care what color your uniform is. If you're wearing stirrups, you get an extra 2 points in my book.
There's a strike on the high inside corner, and to be honest, I think that pitch was maybe a bit higher than the previous. Nonetheless, counts 1-1. Weston gets the ball away. Flores has got to come in hard. Looking into the sun, makes the catch. Sems and Malfetta went all the way back halfway into the outfield. Tito Flores was able to put on cruise control, make the catch, and there's 1 up, 1 down.
The wind blowing out towards that third baseline. As you said, Tito Flores had to cover a lot of ground there. Took off right away. Eventually he was able to pull up a little bit, but covered a lot of ground.
You mentioned the sun. The sun's peeking back out. Well, a lot of the fans that are in the bleachers are covered up pretty well. That pitch was at the kneecaps of Shaw. It was inside, almost grazed him. The count's 1-0.
If anything, I guess the sun makes this heat feel a little more justified. When it's overcast and that hot,
yeah.
you're just kind of complaining.
It just feels like the humidity. Like if you've ever been down to Florida, that's exactly what it feels like year-round, though.
Yep.
Counts 2-0 against Shaw. That was a breaking ball in the outside corner for a ball. 2-0 pitch. Outside corner. Fastball for a strike. Sat at 92.5 from the right-hander, Cameron Weston.
Shaw 1 for 1 on the day. Had a single back in the top of the first inning. Ground ball over towards third base. Legged it out. The throw was wild, but he was pretty much already at first base by the time the throw sailed over Jimmy Overtop's head. That one, an off-speed pitch, goes low and inside. It'll be a 3-1 hitter's count for Shaw when he steps back in.
Mazur doing a great job compared back to that first inning like we talked about. Being on page with Weston.
This ball hit.
That was sharply down the line, foul. I almost forgot who was doing play-by-play in what inning for a second.
We've just got an awkward angle down here.
We do.
Up towards, kind of situated behind the M in the Michigan logo behind home plate at an angle about 20 to 30 feet left of home plate. And looking down there, we've got the light pole, we've got the Michigan bullpen, we've got the awning over the bleachers here, we've got another big metal pole, we've got all sorts of stuff.
We're in the suite, so we have the graded fence in front of us, and we have the protective netting behind home plate. And look at we're in a good spot, though. The payoff pitch from Weston was low, and Matt Shaw for the second time in the ball game will reach base. Last time he got to second base before he was stranded, Randy Bednar also walked back in the first. But here's Cowles. His first time up, he struck out swinging.
Big power and big swings from Cowles up there. Benjamin Cowles, as we mentioned quite a few times in his first at-bat, 16 home runs on the season.
That's good for first in the Big Ten and 10th nationally in homers. He's first in the Big Ten in slugging percentage at .693 and second with 43 RBIs. There's a check swing from him that rode inside, called for a strike. It was fouled away back to the screen. Counts 0-1.
Shaw with good speed over there on first base. The power of speed, or the combination of power and speed, could be a recipe for disaster for Michigan. They do hold that 3-1 lead, though, or that 3-0 lead, rather.
The short leg kick from Weston as he delivers home was fouled back to the screen. And he's doing a good job so far. So, I mean, it really, you don't need to be asked the question, but with a guy on first base, what's the difference between pitching to a power guy with no one on compared to pitching to a power guy with someone on base?
I mean, obviously, you don't want to leave anything over the plate for a power guy, because anything he can put in play, you know he could potentially drive over the fence. But as you said, with speed, anything in a gap has potential to score.
The 0-2 pitch from Weston is high and outside. It's a 1-2 count now. Yeah, I mean, with runners not on base, you can kind of fool with your pitches a little bit with a guy that has a lot of power. You can throw the breaking balls. You want to keep them low in the zone. But with a guy on, sometimes you can't do that. Here's a pitch low and inside. Weston really wanted that one as he was prepared to walk off the mound. Count is evened now at 2. With one out here in the top of the third inning, there's a runner on first base in the form of Matt Shaw, the freshman from Maryland.
Weston just trying his hardest to keep the ball off the plate, just trying to paint the corners all the way around as much as he can.
The 2-2. Swing, very early swing from Cowles. Ricochets off the left field fence, and Mo Fetta grabs it. Promptly tosses it in to Michigan's Noah Rennard.
Dylan Stanton getting another shout out as he runs the balls out to home plate umpire Harry Greer.
Awaiting the 2-2 pitch from Weston in the stretch. Here's the pitch. This one goes 5-hole on Cowles after he fouls it off. He takes a few steps towards first base, and we'll try it again at 2-2.
Bounces off that inside foot.
Look at Stanton go, man. He's all over it.
Jumping the fence, running to get that one back there. Can't give him enough love.
The 2-2.
Ooh, that one looked like it hurt.
And they're going to give him the bag. I thought it was fouled off originally, but home plate umpire Harry Greer has the say. Down to first base goes Cowles. It's a hit by pitch. And now runners on first and second base with one out.
Obviously, getting hit by a projectile going 90 miles an hour is never going to feel good, but that one looks like it hit the hand of Cowles. He shook that right hand off immediately. I don't know if it hit the wrist or if it hit his fingers or what happened. They're checking him out down there, the trainer taking a quick look.
And it looked like it was down towards the knob of the bat at the bottom. And that's right where the right hand of Ben Cowell sits. And as a shortstop, you have to make some of the furthest throws across the infield. Not what you want to see if you're Ben Cowles and the Terrapins. Yeah, I wouldn't want 91 miles an hour to the hands either. I don't blame him.
I wouldn't want 91 miles an hour anywhere. Like, you could tell me, like, if you put me out there and
I wouldn't want 70 or 80 anywhere.
Exactly. Like,
anymore.
You put me out there and you're like, okay, we're going to hit you with something. You can pick where. I feel like the last place would be the hand.
Randy Bednar walked in his first at-bat. Big wave and a miss on the outside corner. A good breaking ball from Weston. Bednar's in a hole of one.
Speed on both the bases. 14 combined stolen bases between the two of them. Shaw on second in scoring position. Cowles on first with a big lead.
Big time. Obertop not caring about him. Here's another breaking ball. This one's low. Count is now 1-1 on Randy Bednar Jr. Where's number 3? Bats right. Foot all the way back in the batter's box. The bat in circles resting on his right shoulder. This pitch is inside. He's now ahead 2-1.
Kind of a theme with these Maryland hitters. A lot of them are just situated way back in the corner. Pretty much, like you said, as far back as they can go. That back right foot situated on the back white line.
It's not like Weston has blazing heat. I mean, I wouldn't want to stand in there with some 90 mile an hour. But for batters who see this kind of stuff every day, that might be a routine double play. Over to Sems, Obertop at first base, and that's going to be a 4-6-3 double play. Good scoop up by Burton, tossed over to Sems, and he made a good throw over to Obertop. And out of the inning goes Weston. Michigan in the coming inning, the bottom half of the third, will bring up Elliott, Obertop, and Sems. And, well, Michigan's got a 3-0 lead. What do they have to do to tack on some more against Mr. Savakul?
Well, just take advantage of those mistakes. Like we said, he struggled with his command a lot. We saw him throw a few wild pitches that escaped outside. He's obviously probably had a few chats with his coaches, his pitching coach and all that between innings, so he's going to look to refine the strike zone. And Michigan's just done a really nice job of letting him do the work for him, too. A lot of these hits you've seen were to right field, and hitters just throw their hands at it. Savakul is sitting at around 93 miles an hour with his fastball, so you don't have to put too much power behind it to drive the ball to the outfield.
Well, lots of accolades to Jason Savakul's name. He was named Baseball America's 2021 Big Ten Preseason Newcomer of the Year. Back in high school, he was named the 2019-2020 New York State Gatorade Player of the Year. So high honors for him, the number 2 ranked right-handed pitching prospect and overall player in New York, according to Perfect Game. So he's determined on the mound. We've seen it a bunch of times now that the Michigan batter steps into the box and he wants to attack them immediately.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of raw talent out there for Savakul. It's going to be interesting to see what he does here in the bottom of the third. He looked really good in the bottom of the first and then struggled a little bit in the second. That's where Michigan, like you said, put up all 3 of their runs.
Well, the freshman knows what he's doing. From Baldwinsville, New York, he's got a 7-1 record for a freshman. 3-time Big Ten Freshman of the Week. It's been a pretty common theme the last couple weeks that we've seen freshmen and sophomores on the hill. I think the game last week we had 2 sophomores. The first pitch to Elliott is low. Savakul seemed to have stumbled off the mound a little bit there. Right back at it. There's a ball high.
Just had to take a quick look and check out where Baldwinsville was. I knew it sounded familiar right up from around the Syracuse area.
There's a ball 3 outside. I believe this is exactly what happened in the last at-bat that Clark Elliott had. He was ahead 3-0. and then ended up grounding out to the shortstop. Here's a 3-0 pitch. Right down the pipe for a strike. Harry Greer throws up that right arm, makes the call, and it's a 3-1 hitter's count for Clark Elliott. Here's a swing and a bloop single into left field, and it made Bednar almost all the way back, a bit further than I officially anticipated, but Clark Elliott's on. Michigan's got a leadoff runner on base, and that'll bring up Obertop.
Great 3-1 approach there from Clark Elliott. Got the pitch he wanted, just sat on it, and drove it opposite field into that gap. Initially, I thought it was going to maybe a little more towards center field. Might have gotten down in the gap for potentially a double, but the wind, as we pointed out before, blowing towards the third base line, kept it over towards the left fielder, Bednar.
Savakul will take a look over at Elliott, throws over to Orlando, an easy one this time. Not the best of moves from Savakul on that one, as he vigorously checked on Jordan Rogers back in the bottom of the second. Here's the pitch to Obertop. Another high and inside pitch from Savakul. This time it was a breaking ball, though, that he just lost.
Yeah, Savakul can't seem to hit his spots in the inside corner. Those fans of just all Michigan sports back at home as the clock elapses 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Michigan softball team is getting underway in game number 2 of the NCAA tournament. They're out in Seattle playing against number 6th nationally ranked Washington.
That pitch was high and inside to Obertop. And speaking of Washington, we get to see Michigan football play Washington in prime time on ABC, 7:30. So shout out to ABC. Sounded pretty official. There's a pitch low and outside for a strike. Obertop not liking it. But how cool is it that we're going to have 110,000 plus back in the big house in the fall?
Yeah, packed big house. I mean, how can't you love it?
Nothing beats it.
Nothing beats it.
This could right now. Love some college baseball.
Yeah, if Jimmy Obertop puts it over the big house.
Which is pretty doable. I mean, it's obviously not doable, but throw over from Savakul to Orlando, went all the way back to the fence, and taking second base is Clark Elliott. Michigan has a runner in scoring position with no outs here in the bottom of the third inning, but you and I talked about it last week in fine detail, exactly what we're seeing from the broadcast booth, and the big house is just gleaming over there in center and right field. Massive.
Yeah, best view on campus right here if you're a sports head like we are.
There's a ball inside. Obertop almost thought about it, and he's now ahead 3-1. So an issue for Savakul here in the first 2 batters of the bottom of the third. He's been behind 3-1 against both.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Savakul waste this one here and just put Jimmy Obertop on.
And that's exactly what happens. I think he tried to snag the top half of the strike zone, but Obertop will take a nice little jog down to first base, and Michigan now has guys on first and second, as Maryland officially has the bullpen stirring here in the bottom of the third, and a much-needed game for the Wolverines. The middle of 3 between the Skunk Bears. I always think that's a funny thing, Wolverines and Terps. If we have to talk about the standings real quick, Nebraska has a 2-game lead on Michigan, Indiana, and Maryland, who are all tied in second place of the Big Ten. Here's Sems. First pitch from Savakul is inside to the lefty. He showed bunt, decided to retract the bunt, and it's a 1-0 count.
Big Ten, always high-quality baseball. This year, extra competitive, as you said, with all those teams battling for the top spot.
Getting a pretty detailed call from head coach Bakich in the dugout. He's got a pretty colorful play sheet down there, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. I might need my binoculars to see what's actually on there. The 1-0 towards Sems.
Here's a swing and a drive deep down the right field line, but well foul. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I made that joke about Obertop hitting one over the big house, but that ball was absolutely smoked.
There is a trio having a conversation out there right next to the indoor trading facility, which is, what would you say, about 15 yards past the right field fence here. and the young lady out there was about 2 feet away from the worst part of her day. The 1-1 pitch to to Sems is a strike on the outside corner, as Obertop had a good lead at first base.
Sems quick ask where that one is. I mean, seemed like he knew it was a strike. He just wanted to make sure it was caught that outside corner and that it wasn't low or anything like that, because he nods his head in agreement, now settles back in the 1-2.
There's a swing and a missile down the right field line. Watch out.
Stephen Linton, the first base umpire, had to show off the dance moves over there at first base to jump out of the way of that one. Sems scorched that one.
1-2 against Sems. Sems has been early on the last 2 pitches from Savakul. No outs here in the inning, trying to do some more damage to the 3-0 lead. Swing and a chop towards the second baseman Shaw. Not going to have enough time to get over top. Good hustle down to first from Sems. But Sems goes down. He advances the runners to second and third, eliminating the force out. And that'll bring up Teddy Two Bags.
I mean, nowhere else you'd rather be in the order right now if you're Michigan. They had Burton and Mazer go back-to-back with 2 doubles in the second inning where they tacked on those runs. And with runners on second and third, potential to do it again.
So runners on second and third now. That brings up Ted Burton, who doubled into the left corner of Ray Fisher Stadium in his last time up. Oh! As Ted Burton's now going to have some words with Jason Savakul as he gets hit in the helmet. He has been up and in all day so far, and Michigan taking exception to it now.
Burton obviously frustrated with that one. I don't think that was intentional. Like you said, Savakul's been up and in pretty much all game, unless he was somehow playing the long con in hopes that somebody would hit a double off him, then he'd have an excuse to hit him up in the head. But that's going to load the bases with 1 out, and Griffin Mazer up into the dish now.
Well, he's 1 for 1 in the ball game. That makes his last 2 games 5 for 7. How about the numbers for Griffin Mazer? This pitch is inside and almost hits him, and Savakul has no control over his arsenal right now.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see Savakul go too much longer in this contest.
The 1-0 pitch to Mazer. This one's outside, so away from the batter's body this time. He misses outside.
Tito Flores on deck awaiting his turn to knock in a few teammates. Only 1 out, so barring a double play, we will see Flores.
Fun fact about Savakul, his dad played baseball at Wake Forest. It's in the genes to play college baseball as Mazer takes a breaking ball in there for a strike on the outside corner.
Again, we've mentioned it. Savakul, even though a few have got away from him, most of his command has been right on that outside half. He's really struggled throwing in.
He pitched against Michigan back on April 5th. 2 innings pitched, 4 hits, 4 runs. Michigan trying to do damage to him again. He's 2 1/3 into this ball game. The shortest he's been in a game was against first place Nebraska back in the second week of April, where he threw 1 2/3, was roughed up for 7 hits and 5 earned runs. 2 of those were doubles off the bat of the Huskers. The 2-1 pitch to Mazer, well outside, and Savakul is just terribly missing now.
Savakul, he's struggling. You can see. He's got himself into this jam. Now he's just trying to throw his way out of it. That fastball just under 93 miles an hour, but he almost threw himself off his feet. Kind of spun to that left glove side.
Pitch count almost to 60 now for Savakul. Readies for the 3-1 pitch. Throwback, trying to get Burton. Orlando, who was already standing off the bag, had to come over and make the catch almost right at the bag. It was a pretty good pickoff move from Savakul. Burton slides back in there safe.
Burton kind of shoots him a look like, okay, I hit a double off you, then you hit me in the head, now you're going to try to pick me off.
Right, and out of the windup with the bases loaded, Mazer, a big swing and a miss that will now load the count. With the payoff pitch looming, Tito Flores prays on deck.
Griffin Mazer was swinging for Chrysler Center on that one. That pitch right down the middle, just missed it, came up empty.
1,000-foot home run. The payoff pitch from Savakul to Mazer. Swung on and missed, and he tried it again. He certainly tried to clear the bases. With 2 down now, it's Tito Flores' turn.
Mazer obviously frustrated with that one. He was in a position where he could tack on at least one, if not a few more runs, and got 2 straight fastballs on a 3-1 and then 3-2 count, and just tried for a little bit too much there.
Riley Langerman will go out there and have a talk with Savakul now as it's time for Flores. Tito last night went 1 for 4, was then pinch run 4 and a clutch call by Coach Bakich. Jake Marty ended up scoring the tying run off the hit from Joey Velasquez. Joe Pace then came in to play left field because they believed his arm was better than Jake Marty's in left. Cam Hart then came in and struck out in pinch hit duties for Joe Pace. I don't know why they took Pace out, because he's 1 for 1 on the season with the double against last place team Minnesota. The pitch to Flores is inside. It was a hook that just missed. 1 out.
Those ones, like we mentioned with Bakich and with Coach Carol Hutchins and the softball team, sometimes it's just a judgment call by the head coach, and when they pay off, you have conversations about them weeks later, and when they don't, I guess you still do.
Here's a line shot up the middle. It's going to score 1 run, and they'll keep Overtop at third base with not much speed over there. That does score 1, though. Tito Flores gets a ribby, and the bases remain loaded as Savakul taking a slow, disappointing walk back to the mound, trying to collect himself before he faces Jordan Rogers.
That ball really well hit up the middle, but Lean fielded it cleanly. Had Overtop gone, he would have gotten absolutely hosed. Good call there to hold him up at third base, and it's going to be another meeting on the mound. This is likely all we're going to see of Savakul. Yep, the pitcher coming in from the bullpen. We'll give you that number as soon as we have it.
Well, we'll give you Jason Savakul's final line here as his ERA now surpasses 5. On the season, he was 7-1, currently has the loss attached to his name, so it would be 7-2, and all 3 runners will be his. So technically his day is not over quite yet, but his line as of now is 2 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, he struck out 1, but the worst part is that he allowed 3 doubles, allowing Michigan to put up, which will be 4 runs. It's not on the board yet, but it's a 4-0 lead here for the Wolverines.
Yeah, scoreboard probably just trying to get settled with the new substitution. Looks like it's going to be Sean Hine, number 22, the right-hander. ERA pretty similar to that of Savakul, sitting at 4.50 even. He's throwing 16 total innings this year. Struck out 11.
Pure bullpen guy.
Yeah, I don't really know how long we'll see him go. There is still activity down there in the bullpen.
Well, it seems so far it's fastball, slider, changeup for him. As Hine has, well, we've only seen a couple of pitches from him so far in his warm-up, but he has yet to hit the strike zone. We'll add a curveball to the arsenal now, and it's always a fun guessing game to play when pitchers come out there to try to get on the right page with their catcher. So fastball, curveball, change, and there's the slider as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's something we mentioned in our last broadcast together. When he's down there warming up in the bullpen, obviously it's not the same catcher. He's going from the bullpen catcher, don't have a name, but from there over towards Langerman. It's going to be interesting to see if they're on the same page. We saw a little bit of miscommunication on the Michigan side to start this one. Weston and Mazer a little bit out of sync early, which led to Mazer dropping a few balls. That's since been tuned back in, and looks like we're set to go.
Jordan Rogers walked in his last at-bat. And at third base is Overtop, Burton's at second, and Flores is currently at first. Bases juiced for Jordan Rogers, who has 15 RBIs on the season, 1 homer, and if he can make it his second, he'll increase that ribby number from 15 all the way to 19 with the bases juiced here. A Craig Kimbrell start to his set. The glove rested right under his chin on the shoulder. Curveball is lined into center field, or left field that is. That'll score the run from second as well, as Burton will be in there standing up. That's his second run scored of the ball game, and Jordan Rogers comes through with 2 RBIs.
You want to talk about efficiency? That's 2 runs scored on 1 swing today from Jordan Rogers. His first time up, he saw 4 straight balls and then trotted on down to first base. Michigan just keeps tacking him on here. The lead now 6-0.
Obertop scored easy. Burton then scored from second. Tito Flores only advanced to second base, but Jordan Rogers, a walk and now a base hit, tacks on 2 more RBIs to the season total. And here's Joey Velasquez, who doubled in his first at-bat and then was caught stealing. So Michigan now leads it by a tally of 6-0 in the bottom of the third.
The average for Joey Velasquez now over 300 at 333. 1-0 sits the count. Hines set to deliver, 2 runners on.
That ball is low. Velasquez looks out to second base and tells Tito Flores to stay put as the ball rolled right in front of Langerman after he lost it. 2-0 count against the sophomore. So those runs that just scored were attached to Savacool's name. 5 earned runs for him now. That ball's high, and Joey Velasquez is ahead 3-0 in the count. And with that big old donut showing up there in the strike column, I'm sure Velasquez will probably have the take on here.
Hine taking his time getting his signs.
Well, Velasquez statistically now has the 3rd best average in the batting lineup. How about it?
How about it?
3 out of his last 4.
Keep
That's a
racking
strike.
it up.
3-1 count now against Velasquez. He probably has the okay to swing now. 2 outs in the inning. Here's the 3-1. Swung on and missed. That's a big-time breaking ball from Heine that Velasquez swung straight through.
Yeah, it comes up empty on that one. Wouldn't be surprised if Velasquez doesn't see another fastball today.
Well, Velasquez, who made great contact on a couple of different fastballs last night, has a hit on one here today. Runners moving. Velasquez shoots one into right field, and making a sliding catch is Schreffler, and he almost did it again.
I know. He hit that ball, and the screws just hit it right at Schreffler.
Well, that will end the bottom of the 3rd inning, as I'm going to hand it back over to you, Charlie, with Michigan leading it 6-0.
Michigan puts on 3 more after going scoreless in the bottom of the 1st. Savacool saw his day end. Ended up giving up 6 earned runs. Cameron Weston will come back out here on the defensive side for the Wolverines to try to keep this Terrapins team scoreless. Through 3 innings, they've yet to put up a run, only 2 hits. And Maryland, we mentioned before the game, kind of an offensive powerhouse. They can hit the ball hard all the way through.
They beat Michigan earlier this year by a score of 17-7, so they can certainly put up runs, and they won last night 11-8, although it was an extra innings, and 3 of them came in the 11th.
Michigan kind of playing for their own pride in this one. After letting up 28 runs to a team, you never want to let that happen. I don't care who you are or who you're playing.
Michigan now leads the all-time series against the Terrapins 19-9. They eliminated Maryland back in the 2019 Big Ten tournament by a score of 10-4. That was the year that Michigan went to the CWS. In the last Ann Arbor meeting before yesterday, Michigan swept 2 games, and that 3rd game was rained out. The first game, Michigan won 10-4, and then the second, Michigan won 6-3. But there was a 4-hour and 18-minute rain delay. So what do you do in a 4-hour, 18-minute rain delay?
Take a nap, eat a sandwich, I don't know. Go drive somewhere else and play another baseball game and then come back.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know, maybe like go into the gym and play a game of wiffle ball, then come back. I really don't know. That's just, like, could you imagine a 4-hour rain delay in, like, imagine that game last night Had a 4-hour rain delay. in the
Don't
middle
even
of
talk to me about length that that game last
it.
night.
Get you on an 8-hour call. Have fun with that one. No thanks. First pitch to Schliger, rides inside, ball number 1.
Maryland bench taking no exception to that pitch from Weston. Sure, there was no intent, but
Yeah, that one, there's no way. That one not too close to hitting Schliger. He made it out of the way with plenty of time. And, I mean, you hit a dude in the head last inning. He chops the 1-0 on the ground foul over towards Overtop at first base. It'll be 1-1 the count.
and we talk about the turf and how high those balls just bounce. Overtop really had nothing he could have done if that ball even would have rolled foul, or fair, that is. I think Schliger would have been safe if it ended up coming back into the field of play.
The 1-1 from Weston. Great off-speed pitch down the middle of the plate for strike number 2.
Backdoored the left-handed hitter with that slider there.
With the sun not quite set, it's an awkward brightness out there.
Lights are on, though.
1-2 was hit deep towards left field. This one going way foul. Nice piece of solid contact there from Schliger. Like you said, the lights are on, but it's not bright enough where they're really doing anything yet. It's like the same, it's the lighting that you would get if you were at like a baseball practice at about this time, where you don't have the lights and you're just kind of winding down. Weston started his windup there and then realized Schliger had called time and stepped out of the box, so he'll settle back in now. Still ahead in the count. It sits 1-2 for the first batter of this inning. This one low and in the dirt.
He was trying to say that he got hit by it on the toe, but I was going to say the count's only 1-2 there. Coach Rob Vaughn will come out and try to talk to Harry Greer about whether or not he got hit. Vaughn came out quite a few times last night and was unsuccessful on every single visit that he took to Jeff Doy, who was the home plate umpire last night.
I mean, without replay, there's nothing you can really do here.
Yeah.
I don't really see the purpose of coming out there to appeal it. You're not going to go out there and convince him to change his call.
Well, we'll play ball. Schliger will stay in the left-handed batter's box with the 2-2 count.
Weston trying to stay in the advantage position in this one. The 2-2 swung on, hit on the ground over towards Burton at second base. Routine ground ball, flips it over top for out number 1.
Well, right where he was standing, Burton just charged in, grabbed it with the arm, and pretty much tossed it over to Overtop. Pretty much could have handed it off to him. Easy ground ball for Weston.
You can see Schliger over there in the Maryland dugout, visibly frustrated after he thought he got hit by a pitch and then grounds out 2 pitches later. Fresh count to Orlando. First one catches the outside corner. Great pitch from Weston. Fastball low and away for strike number 1.
Cameron Weston is humming right now.
Do it again. Another fastball low in the zone. Back to back. It now sits at 0-2 for Orlando. He's going to have to go in plate protection mode. You see him choke up on the bat.
You'd think Maryland would have Weston's number a bit better so far through this game.
The 0-2 skips up into the glove of Mazer. Weston wastes that one just trying to get him to chase a changeup low and in the dirt.
I say that last, that Maryland should have his number because they faced him on April 4th. Weston earned a no decision through 4 innings pitched, 5 hits, allowed 4 runs, 4 walks, and 4 Ks. And then the bullpen had to come in and do the rest for him.
The 1-2, same changeup. Bounces up off the dirt into the glove of Mazer. So count goes 2-2 again. Weston got the ground out on a 2-2 pitch in the last at-bat against Schliger.
Mazer is definitely locked in behind the plate now. Absolute brick wall after that first inning.
2-2, chopped over towards shortstop at Sems. Bounces up into the glove, fires it across the diamond, and makes the play.
Took an unexpected hop on Sems as he did a little bit of a bunny rabbit jump to make sure the ball stayed into his glove and had to make a blazing throw over towards Overtop good infield play so far today by the Wolverines besides the second batter of the ball game, which I believe Shaw reached on what could have been called an error but was allowed a hit for the Terps back there in the first.
So Schliger grounds out to second base on a 2-2 count. Orlando grounds out to shortstop on a 2-2 count. Weston now looking for the 1-2-3 inning. First pitch to Gardner is a fastball on the outside corner called strike one. One of the harder pitches we've seen from Weston today, closing in on 94 as he shakes off one sign. Now he nods yes to the second. Goes off speed there and misses low in the zone, and it'll even out 1-1. Checking in on the Michigan softball game. They're at the top of the second inning now. Score tied 0-0. Gabby Plain in the circle for the Huskies.
Lots of good stuff going on right now with Michigan athletics. Successes, news that we're opening back up to full capacity starting in the fall. Lots of good. Getting back to normal.
2-1s hit deep over our heads, foul. It'll go 2-2, so could potentially see 3 at-bats in a row end on a 2-2 count as Gardner takes a couple practice swings, and now he'll settle back in. This is a great time of year for all sorts of sports. I mean, spring college sports are wrapping up. You got the NBA playoffs. You got the MLB in full swing.
Rookie camp starts for the NFL.
The 2-2 just missing outside. Fastball at 94.
You almost told us. Football spring practice just wrapped up 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Everything's getting going, or
the world's returning back to normal, at least. Starting to.
Heading back.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, indeed. Full count with 2 outs to Weston, and he gets him swinging. Great pitch. Went upstairs with the fastball to sit down the 3rd consecutive. 1-2 inning for the Wolverines. They're going to head back out on the offensive attack after putting up 3 runs in each of the bottom of the last 2 innings. They've got top of the order up. It's Malfetta, then Elliott, followed by Jimmy Overtop in the 3-hole.
How about the job done so far by Cameron Weston? 4 innings pitched, 2 hits, 2 walks. He struck out 4, and his pitch count is up there. It's at 72, but he's still getting the outs that he needs to get. And with the top of the order coming up in the next inning, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times through the order to really get a hold of a guy. But it's improvement from the last start when he saw the Terps, because he was only in there for 4, and he's already through 4 here today with no damage done.
Yeah, I mean, he's looked really good. Like you said, that pitch count's starting to get up there a little bit, but I haven't seen any signs of his control or his power wavering at all. He looks good out there. He's gotten his team through it so far. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. If you're just joining us, Michigan leads 6-0 after putting up 3 runs in the bottom of each, the 2nd and the 3rd.
The only one control issue that we saw from Weston was the one pitch that he threw high and into Schliger after Savakul hit Ted Burton in the head and almost hit multiple other Wolverines up top too. So one pitch, no harm done.
Yeah, obviously you never like to see a fastball ride up and in like it did to Ted Burton. That's scary no matter who you are, but the exchange of throwing at batters is something you don't see as much in college as you do in the pros. It's pretty regular. Yeah, you'll see a reliever get put out there and obviously told by his manager, "Hi, you need to hit this guy his first time up."
Well, with the 7-1 record, you're going to hate me for this one. The Wolverines cooled off Jason Savakul.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
After that pun,
sorry,
we're ready to go here. No, I love a good pun. You can't go wrong. You seriously can't.
Once in a while, I deserve to have one.
Yeah, go crazy. First pitch from Hine is fouled back over towards the parking lot. Malfetta's in an 0-1 hole to start here. Clark Elliott over in the on-deck circle. Malfetta 0 for 2 on the day with 2 groundouts. This one hit deep towards right field. This one down the line and making its way over into the bullpen. That one looked way deeper coming off the bat and then just stayed high up in the air. That one, I don't even know if it got to the bullpen. Coming off the bat, it looked like he kind of smoked that one. But either way, it's a foul ball, and Malfetta will face an 0-2 count from Sean Hine. Hine obviously came in relief of Savakul. As he delivers the 0-2 check swing, they got him in the outside corner.
Malfetta knew it too.
Yeah, Malfetta asks where that one was, has a quick conversation with home plate umpire Harry Greer, but as soon as that pitch landed, he started walking away. He knew it. He should have got after that one.
Should have told you guys the official final line for Savakul was 2 2/3 innings pitched. 6 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout on 64 total pitches, so not his night.
Ouch. First pitch to Clark Elliott, high and outside, ball number 1.
I'm sure Michigan knows the circumstances. I mean, it's obvious. Coach Bakich had to get the team turned around after the thriller. Even though they lost last night, it was a thriller.
This
nice
one
shot.
Swung on, hit hard on the line towards right field. Clark Elliott's going to reach safely. Back-to-back singles for him. Pitch came in at 76 miles an hour, exit velo of just under 100.
No, as I was saying, it's obviously Michigan knows about the status of the Big Ten rankings. They're now behind 2 games on the Huskers, and they play, I believe, they play Ohio State today in the pod down in Bloomington. But after they beat the Hoosiers last night 8-5, got a bigger spread.
First pitch to Jimmy Obertop, fastball catches the lower outside corner for a called strike. The count sits at 0-1. 1 out and 1 runner on. That runner, Clark Elliott, over on first base. 7 stolen bases on the year. Obertop 1 for 1 on the day. Single back in the first inning, walked and scored in the third. The 0-1 delivery rides inside. He quick turns his shoulder to get out of the way.
That one at 82 miles an hour almost clanked the left elbow of the right-handed hitter, Obertop.
Jimmy Obertop's just a little bit more built out than me. Not by much, just a little bit. But I don't care who you are. That one's going to hurt.
Can't lift much more than you, eh?
Yeah, no, not at all.
And explains why he's got 9 homers on the year.
Yeah, I would have had 10, just saying. Anyway.
He still got the chance to get there.
Exactly. Pick-off attempt over to Clark Elliott at first base. He's has more than enough time to get back. Hines settling back in now. Jimmy Obertop awaiting the 1-1. Fastball above his eyes for ball number 2. Benjamin Sems 0 for 2 on the day, looking for his first hit. Awaits in the on-deck circle.
Elliott over there at first base, taking a couple of hard strides towards second, faking the steal, and it's really not bugging catcher Riley Langerman. Last night it would have bugged Justin Vogt, though. He threw down a couple times.
Big swing from Obertop on the 2-1, pulled his head.
I think that just put some wind under the flag in center field.
Yeah, I think it might have moved all those flags down in center field. We've yet to see Michigan really test Langerman's arm. He did throw out Velasquez at third base, but he didn't really get a great jump. 2-2, runner goes. Throw on down to second base. They're not going to have it.
I think they gave him a balk.
Yeah, it looks like, because third base umpire Jeff Doy held up his hands to stop the throw.
Yeah, now home plate umpire Harry Greer tosses up the 2s. As a scoreboard operator, promptly has to reset the whole board. 2-2 count now.
Clark Elliott probably would have been safe. He had a really good jump, and with his
Langerman
speed,
never left his crouch either.
Yeah. He's going to try to throw him out from his knees. So 1 out. Michigan now has a runner in scoring position for Jimmy Obertop as the count sits 2-2 still. Big leg kick in the delivery up above his eyes again. That one crossing 90.
Heine having a bit of trouble with his control now. Watch his warm-up pitches in the inning. He threw about 5, and pretty sure only 1 of them would have been considered a strike. He now loads the count against Obertop and steps off. Clark Elliott doesn't really care. No one holding him back there at second base.
This speed, a single would potentially score. The full count pitch, big swing, and a strikeout from Sean Hine, bouncing back. So escapes the threat that is Jimmy Obertop, and that's going to bring up Benjamin Sems. Sems 2 ground outs on the day. He's going to look to add 1 more on. The lead for Michigan still sits at 6-0 the score with 2 outs here and a runner on second base in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Hine quietly looking to strike out the side, even with the guy at second base. A little fake toss to second that I don't think is going to fool anybody. To keep Clark Elliott back there honest.
Elliott takes 1 step back and just kind of holds out the hands like, yeah, okay, we're doing this.
Cowles is kind of shading second base. The second baseman Shaw is deep into the outfield.
Just trying to hold Clark Elliott at least a little bit close so that a single wouldn't score him. Sims, like I said, has grounded out twice today. He's having a hard time getting the ball up off the ground, aside from that deep fly ball that he hit into foul territory.
One of the furthest balls I think I've seen hit here.
Swings on the 0-1 and hits it back foul the other way over towards our left side, over back towards Yost Ice Arena. The count sits at 0-2. Sean Hine with potential to get out of this one and get his team back out on the offensive attack.
Well, in the few games I've been here, I don't really think you can say that any lead is too big, especially when the Wolverines are trailing.
0-2 wasted high and outside.
It's a good pitch.
Hine will still be out in front as the count sits 1-2. Clark Elliott still over there with a deep lead behind second base.
Wouldn't be surprised if they do the same exact thing here. Sems has been real late.
Yep. This one hit high in the air. That one well foul over towards the Michigan bullpen.
Well, Gardner made the short trek over there. So did the shortstop Cowles.
Cowles covered a lot of ground for that one. Ran real far.
Yeah, and he's still shading Elliott at second base, so it shows you how far he's really going. And 90 feet between the base paths, and he made it all the way to the, what would you say, the foul line-ish?
Yeah, just about. Clark Elliott's speed definitely plays a factor. In the lead he's taking, he's positioning himself to round third and head home. The 1-2 to Sims. Again, outside. The count will go 2-2.
No, I don't think that was by design, as that was a breaking ball that missed well outside that Langerman had to shift over like a hockey goaltender and make the catch.
Yeah, breaking ball that just didn't break from Hine. Stayed high and outside, like you said. 2-2 count with 2 outs and runner on second base for number 2, Benjamin Sims. This one, again, hit back the same way to the left of us over towards Yost.
We almost got a souvenir in the suite.
I know, that would have been cool, huh? We've got the door open.
Been here for 4 games and still haven't grabbed one.
One potentially could make its way in here.
Our luck, it would hit that one string that's keeping the netting up.
Yeah, exactly.
It would bounce back into the field of play.
2-2 to Benjamin Sims. High and outside again. It's going to be a full count.
That had to have been some miscommunication there between Hine and Langerman as he immediately goes out and talks to his pitcher.
Yeah, obviously not on the same page, like you said. So as Mr. Brightside plays over the speakers and Maryland takes their position on the mound for this quick little mound meeting. Another quick update. In the bottom of the second inning, it's still tied 0-0 out there in Seattle between number 6 nationally ranked Washington and number 20 Michigan. In still the first round of the college national tournament.
Hopefully the girls grab a W out there.
Full count pitch to Sims. Again, wasted outside. He's going to head on down to first base. As you said, great at-bat from Benjamin Sims to fight his way back from 0-2 and works that walk. That's going to bring up Ted Burton. He scored both of his times up, had a double rather, back in the second inning and scored. Got hit in the head his last time up in the third inning.
And he took a couple of steps out towards Jason Savakul, the Maryland starter, and decided to head down to first base before any kind of scrap happened between Burton and Savakul.
This one rides high up and inside. One of the harder thrown pitches we've seen from Hine. Again up towards the head of Ted Burton.
I don't blame him for being frustrated either. Maryland has been high and in all day, and I don't think there was really any attention at all coming into this ball game for that to happen. Now Burton is quite a bit flustered.
The 1-0 to Burton, hit deep towards left field, way back to the wall, going, see you later. An absolute moonball from Ted Burton, and the lead is now 9.
Much deserved for Ted Burton. He took exception to the ball, which is it's stomp on home plate, Ted Burton. Last time he was up, gets hit in the head by Savakul. This time, Sean Hine rides up and in towards the head again of Burton, and that was a monster, like you said, moonshot of a fly ball that just rode over the brick monster in left field.
Yeah. Say goodnight to that ball. That one was absolutely bombed. I don't think there was any part of that ball that Ted Burton didn't hit. I think every square inch of that ball hit his bat there as Griffin Mazur swings on pitch number 1 and fouls it back. The lead for Michigan now 9-0 on 9 hits.
I thought I was the bad luck charm for Michigan. I've been here for a couple games in which they've lost. Never seen a home run by the good guys until then.
Same thing on pitch number 2, followed back the same direction. Mazur now in an 0-2 hole. 1 for 2 on the day, had a double and scored his first time up in the second. Struck out swinging in the third. Tito Flores awaits on deck. The 0-2. Big swing and a miss, and after giving up the 3-run home run, Hine comes back with 3 straight strikes to retire the side. We're going to head to the top of the 5th, but not before Ted Burton does some more damage. Saw a pitch up and in. Had to quick duck out of the way as to not get hit in the head again. And that next pitch comes right back and hits an absolute moonball over the left field wall.
Michigan right now, if they were to continue playing this kind of game, would score just about 20 runs as they've put up 3 in 3 consecutive innings. As Cameron Weston goes back out to work, and from the opposite side of you, if you're Maryland, what do you have to do to figure out the jigsaw puzzle right now, which is Cameron Weston?
I mean, honestly, I don't know how much they can do. It's not like he's doing anything too fancy. It's like he's not out there throwing knuckleballs or anything crazy like that. He's just doing a really nice job of hitting his spots and throwing Maryland pitches that they can't really make solid contact with. He's doing a nice job staying away from the middle of the plate and kind of throwing around their heavy hitters. And
good start for the Wolverines. Yeah, right. Especially after Stephen Hazard was taken out of the game pretty early last night. Minor Jason Savakul was run from the game 2 2/3 inning into his appearance. Came into it 7-1. He allowed 6 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, and he struck out 1. Then Sean Hine came in to relieve him, and he's now allowed 6 hits, 3 earned runs. He walked 1, and he also hit a man. Allowed that home run to Burton.
I just can't get over that home run. I've seen some really hard hit balls here.
It was a revenge home run.
Yeah, absolutely that's a revenge home run.
You want to take out your anger on the baseball field, do it in the box. And that's exactly what he did. He kept his head on. And I'm sure now he may have had a word or two with Hine as he ran by him. But nonetheless, Michigan leads at 9-0. There's a strike in there to Troy Streffler. He bats in the 8 slot.
That's a revenge home run. Get hit in the head the at-bat before you step up and new pitcher throws at your head again. Whether intentional or not, that's got to be frustrating.
I'm kind of questioning what exactly the beef was between the two. There's a strike. It's a 1-1 count. Here's a pitch from Weston. Swung on and fouled away down the right field line. But what exactly started all of this?
Yeah, I don't know. Both teams getting a little chippy, kind of jawing back and forth at each other.
And yet it's only the 5th inning and there's a ball in the inside corner. The second game out of 3 was going to end up staying there. I had to wait for the pitch. 2-2 count now against Troy Streffler. Bats .302 on the season.
Grounded out in his last time up, that way back in the 2nd inning.
There's a 2-2 from Weston. That was a foul ball that somehow remained hot towards Malfetta. And if that hit his foot, ow.
Ow, indeed. I think that one might have gone off. I don't even know. That one went off like the front side of his foot.
The only other thing that you could think that it hit off of was maybe home plate, but home plate's in the ground. It's a turf field, so it's not like home plate's raised any. The 2-2 from Weston, that one hits the elbow.
Weston just waves it off with his glove as soon as he hit him with that pitch. Just looked towards the outfield and just said, that at bat was a lost cause anyway. That's going to bring up the catcher Langerman in the 9-hole.
So Langerman, who's gotten one start in each of the last 5 series, this will be his 6th, comes in and relieves the duties of Justin Vogt, who homered twice last night. They both bat out of the 9 slot, so the catcher in the box isn't necessarily the strong suit for him. There's a ball riding inside. It's a 1-0 count against Langerman, who's just a hair above 100 on the season.
Yeah, Langerman in a similar boat to Joey Velasquez. Not too many at-bats, only 19 on the season.
There's a good pitch, finding the outside corner of the strike zone, and there for a strike. Langerman took that one. The count's now 1-1 against him.
Great speed over there on first base. 9 stolen bases on the year.
Here's a foul ball, right field side. The count now rides 1-2.
Dylan Stanton, the freshman again, running those balls into home plate umpire Harry Greer.
The runner at first base, Troy Schreffler, was hit by the pitch. The count's 1-2 against Riley Langerman. Weston will try and roll one here and get 2. Here's the pitch. That one's well outside. Langerman now evens the count at 2. It's a 2-2 count.
One thing Cameron Weston's done really well today is getting Maryland to hit into ground balls. He's been trying to stay low in the zone, not giving them anything they can drive.
With 4 strikeouts in the afternoon, looking for his 5th. Here's an awkward swing on a breaking ball from Weston, and Langerman fouls it off over the awning on the right field side.
Awkward, yeah, definitely an awkward swing. That pitch rode in towards the knees on the inside half, and Langerman put his right foot back and kind of kicked it up and then fouled it off the opposite way.
Crooked stance for Langerman as Mazur's got to reach well outside. Sliding back is Schreffler. No throw down for Mazur, though. Langerman now loads the count, 3-2. The 9-0 lead for the Wolverines. Maryland has a lot of damage to chip away at. So no big rush for Weston, but he obviously wants to limit the damage in each inning. Here's a line out to Elliott. Throwing back to first base, well safe is Schreffler. So 1 down. Langerman put the bat on the ball real hard, but now it'll bring up the top of the order for Bubba Aline.
Exit velo and 95 on the line drive towards Elliott in right field.
Man, I'll tell you what, that looked like it was going to get down for sure. And Elliott had to step up about 2 feet, ends up making the catch. And with 1 down now, Weston has to face 1-2 if Aline were to not ground into a double play here. And that's right over to Obertop. Steps on first, throws down to second. Schreffler's going to be safe. Rolling into left field, and Sems has to make a strong sprint over towards the ball. Schreffler will stay put at second base. And on 1 pitch, down goes Aline. He's now 0 for 3 in the ballgame.
The throw from Obertop looked like it might have hit Schreffler over there on second base. It took an awkward hop, and it didn't look like it hit the ground.
Well, on the fielder's choice, the force out on the base paths is now no longer, as Matt Shaw takes the plate. He's been the lead terrapin today. 1 hit, 1 walk, gotten on baseball times. That's probably why he leads the team in batting average and is second amongst freshmen in the Big Ten.
Yeah, hitting .347 as a freshman at a high level of baseball like this. Impressive for anybody, and definitely impressive for a freshman, as I just mentioned.
That slide piece was outside by Weston. It's a 1-0 count. Here's the second pitch. That one's high and up. a fastball, and Weston's still pumping. It's the top of the 5th inning. That one is at 93 miles an hour from the sophomore.
Yeah, Weston with plenty of gas left in the tank hasn't hit 90 pitches yet. It'll be a 2-0 hitters count for Shaw here.
Knees well bent into the right-handed batter's box for Shaw as he watches one go by. It's a 3-0 count.
Wouldn't be too surprised to see Shaw swing away here on 3-0 with the lead that Maryland has to chip away at here. 9-0 it still sits.
Here's a 3-0, probably take pitch from Shaw, and that one almost clips the inside part of the plate, but Shaw will take a walk down to first base, and for the 3rd time this afternoon, he's on the base paths. It's his 2nd walk in a row. He's been stranded each time at second base.
That's going to bring up Benjamin Cowles as we have a quick meeting on the mound.
And a prompt visit from Steve Merriman, the pitching coach for the Wolverines. Ben Cowles bats 3rd. He's a shortstop for him. How many times do you really see the shortstop, especially in a match where the shortstops are both in 3 and 4? There's usually not much power from shortstop because, I mean, my head immediately goes to the Tigers. I'm a Tigers guy. And I think of Jose Iglesias, who had played there for a while. And he wasn't much of a hitter. Then I think about Johnny Peralta before him and Carlos Guillen before him. And they were all bottom of the order guys. But it seems like the roles are reversing lately.
No, yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I mean, growing up, my favorite player was always Derek Jeter. Hit towards the top of the order, but never in that 3 hole.
He was usually 2, right?
Yeah. Bat 2nd for most of his career. Obviously not like a huge power guy, but now, I mean, you look across Major League Baseball, you've got guys like Fernando Tatis Jr. playing shortstop and just hitting bombs left and right.
Rare occurrences, right? Ian Kinsler played second base all of his career, and he was always 1 or 2. Usually you see the guys at the corners or maybe a catcher. Sometimes you get your variety of outfielders that'll bat there. Not typically the shortstop, though. The fresh count pitch to Cowles is in there for a strike. With 2 outs here in the inning, Cameron Weston trying to get out of men on first and second base.
Cowles got hit in the hand his last time up.
Schreffler's at second. On first base is Shaw. Here's the pitch from the stretch. Is in there for a strike, an 0-2 count. And Weston can do whatever he pleases here. Well, he's ahead by 2 pitches.
Cowles is going to have to defend with 2 strikes to avoid strikeout number 50 on the year.
Weston set at the belt. Here's the pitch, high leg kick. That one's outside. Hard thrown slider there from Weston, 85 miles an hour.
Now, like I said before, Weston's still pumping. Pitch count sitting at 88 right now.
He readies for the 1-2. That was a good breaking ball, and Cowles holds off. Evens the count now at 2.
You heard the noise from the Michigan bullpen there. They wanted that one. As you said, Zach, count's going to even out 2-2.
Cowles is 0 for 1, like you said, got hit by the pitch in his last time up as it clipped his hand. Weston will check on the runner, Schreffler, who was hit by pitch this inning. 2 hit by pitch batters for the Terps, and he strikes him out looking. Down goes Cowles, and, well, he's to the big number 50 as Weston gets out of another jam. Michigan still leads it 9-0. They also lead in hits 9-2. Maryland's been charged with the lone error of the ballgame, which was just a pickoff error on the part of Jason Savacool. But Michigan doing everything right so far in today's game.
Yeah, knock on wood for Michigan fans, but like you said, can't seem to make a mistake here. As Sean Hine takes the mound again, it's going to be 7-8-9. Tito Flores, followed by Rogers and Velasquez. Before heading back up to the top of the order, Flores, in his last time up, had an RBI single back in the 3rd inning.
And you'd think, especially in college baseball, that once you get to the bottom of the lineup, that it kind of fades out a little bit. That is not the case, especially with this Michigan team. Flores, Rogers, and now Velasquez. Zimmerman started last night's game in the designated hitting position, but 7, 8, 9 for the Wolverines is no pushover. And then you have to talk about 1 through 6. So the whole Wolverines lineup is loaded, not necessarily with a lot of power. They don't have a guy in double-digit home runs, but they do it in other ways. Lineouts, doubles, patient at-bats, and getting on base with walks.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, looking at the lineup, like you said, stacked all the way through, the lowest batting average in the lineup right now is Griffin Mazer at 265, who has a double on the day. Like you said, they just rack them up like crazy. Speaking of guys who rack up doubles like crazy, Tito Flores stepping up to the plate now. 12 doubles for him on the season. Slugging percentage of .525 for Tito.
Home plate umpire Harry Greer and Tito Flores having some kind of conversation as he now steps into the box, rearranges the turf, I suppose, and is now ready to go against Sean Hine. They are waiting for the clock to run out. Each team gets 2 minutes in the middle of innings as we're officially underway in the second half of the ballgame. Big time hook in there from Hine for a strike at 74.
Great pitch there. Flores didn't look like he was going to try to take a shot at the first pitch anyways, but like you said, great hook at 74 miles an hour.
1 for 2 on the day. He lines one up the middle right by Hine, and Tito Flores is on base to lead off the inning for the Wolverines. Takes a big round past first base, and they'll count that one. Joey Velasquez will now step up to the plate and grab the bat out of the way, and Jordan Rogers will officially be the batter.
My heart kind of skipped a beat a little bit there. Tito Flores absolutely hit that ball in the screws right back at Hine. Just got out of the way in time. Those are scary from watching up in the booth. Couldn't imagine how it feels for Hine down there on the field.
And second base umpire Jeff Doy had to get out of the way too. Here's the pitch to Rogers as he skies one foul over the right side awning. Count is 0-1 against number 18.
Rogers walked and scored in his first time up back in the second inning. In the third inning, in his second plate appearance, had a 2 RBI single.
The 0-1 pitch coming to Rogers, who's in a deep crouch in his stance. That one will miss high. Count now even at 1-1.
Joey Velasquez, number 26, in the on-deck circle.
Couple of strides at first base for Flores. Not the fastest runner. Takes a good secondary. There's a changeup in there for a strike from Hine on the bottom part of the inside half of the plate.
Another really good off-speed pitch towards the bottom of the zone.
Awaiting the 1-2 pitch is Rogers, who's 1 for 1 in the ballgame. That's .305 on the season. He fouls one off and stays alive, again down the right field side. He's been real late on his swings at this at-bat, but nonetheless stays alive and will fight the 1-2 pitch next.
Yeah, that attack, not really one looking for a hit, just more, like you said, staying alive on the 1-2 count. He's choked up on the bat a little bit and crowded up on that plate.
Jordan Rogers has a conversation with home plate umpire Harry Greer to give him time in the box. He stood ready as Hine was still in his set. As he readies for the 1-2. Here's a drive into center field. Going back is a lean. And making a sliding catch and calling him off is Schreffler. A great catch sliding out there, and a lean was well under it. But the communication between the two, Schreffler apparently wanted it more as he came into center field and made the catch.
I guess so. Second play we've seen from Troy Schreffler in right field where he had to get dirty for that one.
Well, here's Joey Velasquez. In his first at-bat, we talked about him being the hero last night. Michigan had a 5-run rally in the bottom of the 9th inning to tie it at 8 before eventually losing in the top half of the 11th inning, allowing 3 runs. This one's high and in to Velasquez. And he's not a guy that I would mess with tossing high and in.
No, I wouldn't mess with too many players on this Michigan lineup, but definitely not the dude who plays linebacker for the football team.
Under coach Mike McDonald, his first year as the defensive coordinator for the Wolverines, has done a great job picking up the new system at spring practice. Hine checked over to Flores. He made a quick throw to Orlando. It's still a 1-0 count against Velasquez. High leg kick, here's the pitch. A late swing from Velasquez. It's a 1-1 count now.
Sun seems to be setting here at Ray Fisher Stadium. The heat still up there. Looks like it's, still sitting at 83 degrees.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Velasquez now bats .308 on the season. Not too many plate appearances for him. Readies for the 1-1. There's a curveball outside. And he's certainly mixing his stuff up a bit as Hine. We've seen lots of fastballs. He's mixed in the change, slider, and curveball as well. And the fastball hasn't been very consistent for him, but those breaking balls have.
He's been relying on his off-speed quite a bit for location.
Here's the 2-1. Here's a high, towering fly ball into left field. Coming in is Bednar Jr. He makes the catch, and retreating back to first base is Flores.
That ball hung up in the sky for almost 10 seconds. As you said, Bednar Jr. had plenty of time to get over there and settle under it. That'll bring up the top of the order, Christian Malfetta, stepping up for the 4th time in today's contest.
Malfetta so far in today's game, grounded out to the third baseman, grounded out to the second baseman, and has struck out. So an 0-for-3 start from the transfer from Stanford University. First pitch is a big wave and miss for number 14. He's down early 0-1.
Seen a lot of big hacks from Malfetta today.
So falling off a little bit late in the season here is Malfetta, trying to get back on track before Michigan heads to the NCAA tournament if they are to get a bid from the committee. He takes another strike on the outside portion of the plate. Counts now 0-2. Malfetta has to lock in.
You would think this Michigan team would get a bid. I mean, they currently sit at number 24 in the national rankings near the top portion of the Big Ten.
Here's the 0-2. Tito Flores going. The throw down from Langerman is late as it hits Flores. The second baseman, Shaw, tries to go run and scoop it up instead. Cowles picks it up and will now toss it back to the pitcher, Hine. And Tito Flores snags a base. Michigan now with a runner in scoring position. If Malfetta were to hit the ball pretty much anywhere in the outfield, it may be enough to score Flores.
Throw from Langerman caught Flores on that front left elbow. You could see him trying to stretch it out over there on second base. The 1-2 delivery on the way.
Swung on and missed. Down goes Malfetta. Frustration on the face of the graduate senior, but we will now head to the top of the 6th inning. Michigan still leads it by a score of 9-0. Out hitting the Terps today, 10-2. Maryland been charged with 1 error, and from what you know about the game last night, that was the name of the game was errors. Michigan had 4, Maryland had 1, and you just can't have those, especially in a game where you're trying to vie yourself for first place.
Yeah, as I mentioned before the game, especially against a really good hitting team like Maryland, who's just been red hot all year long, you have to just cut back on any mistakes. Can't give them any freebies. They've done just that as they are perfect in the field through 5 innings of work. Just give you the quick hitting comparisons. Michigan 10 for 24 for a team average of 417 in this game. Maryland just 2 for 16. Equal numbers of strikeouts for both teams, both sitting at 5. Cameron Weston will be out on the bump again. Pitch count yet to surpass 100, sitting at 93 as he comes back out for his 6th inning of work.
Plenty of stamina still for him, too.
Yeah, the score of the Michigan softball game from Seattle still sits at 0-0. It is a pitcher's battle. Gabby Plain for the Huskies, 2nd in the nation in strikeouts, facing off against Michigan's star pitcher Alex Storako, who just won Big Ten Pitcher of the Year.
And how about the fact that you went through a no-hitter in the NCAA tournament last night?
Yeah, Megan Bobian, Michigan's other ace, throws a no-no in their first contest.
Michigan has been spoiled with starting pitchers over the last couple years, softball-wise.
Yeah, Megan Bobian's just been historically great. Alex Storako has come in and in her career here has proven herself to be one of the best pitchers in all of college softball. Focusing back on the game at hand here in Ann Arbor, it'll be Bednar Jr., the cleanup hitter, stepping up to the plate. First pitch on the way, big swing and a miss, strike number 1. He's 0 for 1 on the day, walked back in the first inning, the only time he's reached base. That last pitch sitting at 84 miles an hour, the changeup from Weston goes right back to the fastball on pitch number 2. Low and outside, count will go 1-1.
And I will say, Hine for Maryland has come in and done a great job of limiting Michigan. Although he has been charged with 3 earned runs, it was all on one swing.
Great pitch there from Weston, the off-speed, low and inside, gets Bednar to swing over top of it. The count now 1-2. Obviously, they do play 9 innings, so Maryland has some time, but it's kind of getting down to the point where they're going to need to start putting on some runs as he gets him swinging and missing for another strikeout for Weston, his 6th of the afternoon.
That was a beautiful off-pace changeup that Weston threw on the inner portion of the plate, and with the arm side tail on it, he got Bednar Jr. to swing straight through that one.
Back to what I was saying, Maryland now just with 11 outs left to give in the tank, and they're down 9 runs. First pitch on the way towards Schliger. Catches the outside corner, called strike 1.
Weston's season high in strikeouts is 9. He currently sits at 6. That was a complete game against Michigan State.
0-1, he tried to lay down a bunt, but fouled it back into the glove of Mazer, so the count's going to go 0-2, advantage completely towards Cameron Weston.
Michigan's corner infielders did a great job of preparing for that bunt. I don't know how Mazer caught that ball because he was coming out of his crouch literally as the ball was fouled into his glove.
The 0-2 hit hard up the middle. Sem's covering a lot of ground, snags it in the glove, but not in time. Schliger's going to reach safely. That one's going to go down as a hit.
Great effort play, though, by Sems. He covered a lot of ground in, what, a second and a half maybe that the ball was dribbling through the infield. Jordan Rogers had a good jump on it in center field, so nonetheless would have been a single, but good effort by Sems.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground there. So with good speed on first base in Schliger, Orlando's going to step up to the plate now.
And here's a visit from Coach Bakich. Typically when Bakich comes out there, it means it's a pitching change. But he has yet to tap his arm, which is usually how it goes with Coach Bakich. Steve Merriman will typically be the pitching coach to come out and just have a conversation with them, but with Eric Bakich out there, we'll see what the decision is for the Wolverines.
Pitch count now sits at an even 100 for Cameron Weston. If this is the end of his line, it's been a very good afternoon for him. He's kept this Maryland team scoreless through 5 1/3 inning. He's thrown 6 strikeouts.
His season high in number of pitches is 105. And there will be the substitution for the Wolverines. They'll bring in a reliever. Deserving of a standing ovation will be Cameron Weston as he'll head off the mound for Michigan.
Yeah, great outing for Weston. Closes his book with 6 strikeouts as the crowd gives him the standing O here. His teammates coming out to greet him before he makes his way all the way back to the dugout.
Weston's, whose season record is 5-3, at stake for his 6th win here on the season. His final line today, if it is a line, just disappeared on us. So Ben Dragani is the pitcher for the Wolverines now. He wears number 21.
Give you the quick breakdown the best we can through what it was 5 1/3 total innings for Weston. Tallied 6 strikeouts, only gave up 3 hits against a very good Maryland team.
So the line here in front of me for Weston is 5 1/3 innings pitched, allowed 3 hits. The runner on first base is his. 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, threw 1 wild pitch back in the first inning, which advanced the runner. He hit 2 batters, but lots of ground outs today. He rolled 1 double play, and he's not necessarily a strikeout pitcher, but he came in and did the job with ground balls, and it was a fantastic outing for him.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He got the job done in every way he could.
Quick rundown on Ben Dragani. He's 3-2 on the season with 23 even innings pitched. He's allowed 17 hits, 15 walks, and he comes in with a 3.13 ERA, so he'll get the opportunity to toss here for the Wolverines in a 9-0 ball game.
Maryland's just going to need to start chipping away here. They've got, for the most part, 4 innings left to work and 9 runs to chip away at. Michigan's bats are red hot, especially Clark Elliott, who's the first due up. He's 2 for 3 on the day. It's going to be 2-3-4 for the Wolverines when they go back out on the offensive end. Clark Elliott, Jimmy Overtop, and Benjamin Sims. But before they do that, obviously they need 2 more outs. It's going to be Orlando stepping up to the plate. 0 for 2 on the day. He's grounded out to Benjamin Sims over at shortstop twice. First pitch from Dragani's hit deep towards center field. Coming into field is Rogers. Ball stayed in the air for a long time, and the wind pushed it back towards left field, but Rogers, no harm getting over to it. Very efficient out for Dragani. He's got 1 pitch and has tallied the second out of this inning. It was a big swing from Orlando, just got under it and put it possibly higher than it went far. I mean, that one was way up there.
The redshirt junior from Brookfield, Wisconsin, tossing for Michigan.
Gardner swings on the first pitch he sees and follows it backwards to the right side over into the parking lot. Dragani taking his signs now. The lefty, the changeup from Weston, who, as we said, was right-handed. The 0-1, just missing outside. Nice off-speed pitch.
Tried to get him with the backdoor curveball there. Lots of Gatorade Player of the Year candidates and winners between Michigan and Maryland. Dragani won that honor back in 2017 in the state of Wisconsin.
The 1-1, high and outside, sitting at just over 87 miles an hour. So Gardner's got a 2-1 count here for him. He's in the driver's seat. Singled back in the second inning for one of Maryland's 3 hits.
Big-bodied pitcher for Michigan, 6'5", 225. Good pitch.
Great pitch. The off-speed catches the outer lower corner. Count now sits at 2-2.
Already a much more efficient outing for Dragani than his last time out against Michigan State, which he was unable to get an out and allowed 3 runs.
Gardner hits this one on the ground towards Sims, throws it over to second base, and that's going to do it for the side. We're going to head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Michigan still holds that 9-0 lead, so Weston keeps them scoreless through 5 1/3. The 1 runner accounted to him gets left on base as Dragani comes in and does his job. As I said a few moments ago, 2-3-4 for the Wolverines. Clark Elliott, Jimmy Overtop, and Benjamin Sims.
The last shutout win for the Wolverines was back in the middle of April. April 17th was the last time they did that in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they knocked off the Gophers 4-0. A night after they won 21-5. So Michigan's no new stranger to putting up lots of runs, but Maryland will still put out Sean Hine.
Since coming in, Hine has been really good for this Maryland team. I mean, pretty solid. He led up the home run to Burton, but other than that, I mean, you can't really complain about what he's done.
Literally the only thing could be, well, throwing the ball high on Burton and then allowing the 3-run dinger to left field, but we couldn't even see if the ball went over the fence due to the overhang in left field.
I mean, as soon as that thing came off the bat, I was more concerned about that ball staying in the township of Ann Arbor than I was about it staying in the park.
You're more concerned about the safety of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. I was more concerned about the safety of some old lady who lives like 2 miles away where that ball probably landed.
Oh, no.
Clark Elliott stepping up now. He's 2 for his last 2 for 3 on the day. Singles in both the third and fourth innings, scored both times. Obertop on deck. Benjamin Sems ready to go in the hole, standing at the top steps of the dugout. The sun has reappeared and is casting some awkward shadows as Clark Elliott hits this one hard towards first base, making a nice athletic catch as Orlando after it skips over to him, but first base umpire Stephen Linton calls it foul. So a lot of effort from both teams for just one measly strike. The count sits at 0-1.
Been here now for 3 seasons, has Sean Hine from Medford, New Jersey, and Shawnee High School.
Elliott chops at the 0-1. Count now 0-2. Hine way in the driver's seat. Elliott chokes up on the bat, now settles back in for the 0-2 delivery from Hine. This one fouled back the other way. Defensive swing from Clark Elliott. He's not going to go down easy.
Clark Elliott's been down on the count a couple different times today, but each time he's fought back. With 2 singles, he's looking to do the same.
The 0-2 check swing. They're going to say it's a ball. He didn't go around, so Elliott buys himself one back. It's 1-2 now. No action down in the Michigan bullpen. There's a little bit of something going down there.
It was like a skipped ball from the bullpen pitcher that was probably blocked by the catcher, but happened to ricochet about 30 feet to the left and in fair play.
1-2 to Clark Elliott, just missing outside. Fastball from Hine sitting at 89 miles an hour.
By far the best season for Hine is a career ERA at Maryland of 7.20. Has settled in a bit this year with 4.5 coming into this weekend.
This one from Elliott hit deep towards left field. That one's going to go well foul.
Continuing to fight.
That's something about these Michigan hitters. Whether or not they strike out, they very rarely strike out easily. They're always going down fighting, going down swinging as Clark Elliott quick calls time.
Lots of patient at-bats for number 15, Clark Elliott today.
2-2 well outside. It's a full count now. Elliott fighting his way all the way back. The lights may be starting to have a little bit of an impact as the sun falls further and further down towards the horizon. No outs, full count pitch to Clark Elliott. It's fouled back into the net. We're going to do it one more time at least.
A little reminder of what's at stake in this game. Pure hold of second place in the Big Ten as Indiana in the pod with Ohio State and Nebraska play tonight.
Full count pitch from Elliott's hit foul again. This one hard
You
down
said
the
one
first
more
baseline.
time.
Hit it really hard foul. Exit velo over 100 at 101.06.
Yeah, watch out. First base coach for the Wolverines had to do a quick jig to get out of the way.
The full count pitch from Hine. This one hit hard on the ground, deep in the hole between first and second base. Close play. And making the out is Shaw. Shaw fielded that one deep in the outfield grass, slid, but kept his composure and made the play. Clark Elliott grounds out, but not before making Hine throw a whole bunch of pitches.
And the second baseman Shaw there dropped a piece of equipment, and at first I thought it was the ball. And Clark Elliott with some pretty good speed almost made it down to first.
First pitch to Obertop, bounces up into the glove of Langerman. He's 1 for 2 on the day with 3 plate appearances. Singled in his first time up, struck out his last time up. In between those two, walked and scored back in the third inning as he watches pitch number 2 go by. High and inside for ball 1.
Quick look around the rest of the Big Ten today. Nebraska took the first of their doubleheader against Ohio State, winning it 11-9. Northwestern beat Iowa 5-4 in Evanston. Purdue won 17-4 in the battle of last place.
2-0 pitch, a curveball that drops into the strike zone. The count now sits at 2-1.
And the big game to keep your eyes on tonight from Bloomington, Indiana, is Nebraska and IU.
Overtop watches a fastball in the outside corner for a called strike. Has a quick word with home plate umpire Greer to ask where that one is. Hine, not phased, has fought his way back into this one after being down 2-0. The count sits even. This one hit hard down the third base line, and that one's going to get down for at least one. Overtop rounding first base. He's going to have an easy stand-up double.
All that muscle trying to put some speed into second base.
Overtop ripped that one down the line. Exit velocity of 93 miles an hour. Third baseman Gardner dove for that one. We saw him make a diving stop earlier. That one too hot to handle. Gets all the way to the back corner. That'll bring up Benjamin Sems, but first a quick meeting on the mound, and we're going to have a pitching change.
Rob Vaughn will go out there, and well, we have yet to know who exactly the pitcher will be, but a quick look in at the coach for the Terps. Rob Vaughn is his 9th total year coaching, his 4th at the helm of Maryland. He went to Kansas State and graduated in 2011. His wife Kaylee and a son Wyatt. Has been at Maryland his whole career besides the 1 year he was a volunteer assistant coach for Kansas State. So talk about being promoted from within, the Texas native, doing a good job of keeping Maryland competitive here in the last couple years. And was obviously disappointed to see them drop the Big Ten tournament game a couple years ago to the Wolverines. But a really good coaching matchup that's been kind of the case the last couple weeks between Michigan, Maryland, Michigan, Indiana, as the pitcher from the bullpen will be Logan Ott for the Terps.
Yeah, I've mentioned a few times the just large amounts of talent in the Big Ten on the player aspect. A lot of good potential. Few number of names that'll probably one day play in the majors, but on the coaching end of things too, like you said, between Michigan, Indiana, Maryland, there's all sorts of names that are very well respected coaches in the baseball community.
So an interesting story in Logan Ott. Last week he started, or 2 weeks ago that is, started in left field in the first leg of the doubleheader against Illinois. So he's not only a pitcher, he doubles as a batter as well. He's batting 158 on the season, has been in 15 games, but he started in 12 of them, and he has 38 at-bats. He's had 6 hits. So talk about being a player on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I've seen limited action on both ends. He's only thrown 7.2 innings as he comes into this one. In the bottom of the 6th, the lead for Michigan as Jimmy Obertop stands on second base is still 9-0. Benjamin Sems will be the first batter to face Ott.
The left-hander got his first career start on the mound against Northwestern a couple months ago. He tossed 6 innings of 1 run ball. He struck out 5 and earned the W in that one. That's his only decision on the year. He's 1-0.
Nods yes to the first sign and settles in to deliver towards Benjamin Sems. Lefty on lefty. This one roped into the left center, or right center gap rather. That's going to score Obertop. Sems over towards second base. He's got at least second, and he's going to stop standing up. Back-to-back stand-up doubles for the Wolverines, and they put another one on. The lead now 10-0.
And that one was real deep, making Chris Aline in center field run all the way into one of the deepest parts of the ballpark. And Obertop, who, well, he almost tagged up, ended up scoring pretty easily. Michigan hits double-digit runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
They keep their foot on the gas. Unfortunate start for Logan Ott. He's thrown 1 pitch and let up an RBI double.
Well, the run's not his, so it doesn't matter, right?
Scoreboard stays all the same as pitch number 1 to Ted Burton rides low in the dirt. Skips up into the chest protector of Langerman. Wouldn't be surprised to see Maryland throw around Ted Burton here, not give him anything he can drive.
Yeah, he's a motivated man at the plate, to say the least, right now.
Pitch number 2, again in the dirt. Burton will have a hitter's count coming up. if you're just joining us and haven't heard of the Chronicles of Ted Burton in this one, had a double and scored in his first time up in the second inning. His next time up was hit in the head as he takes a big hack at the 2-0. Was hit in the head and scored. His fourth time up in the fourth inning, first pitch was thrown up by his head. He had to duck away again. Obviously was visibly frustrated. Next pitch launches a 3-run home run over the left field wall. He now sits with a 2-0 count as he hits this one hard down the line, and that one's going to drop down into the corner. Have a day, Ted Burton. He's legging it out for 2. Benjamin Sims is going to score, and Ted Burton just continues the campaign.
Teddy Two Bags.
Now with 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, and a home run on the day, he's 3 for 3, and has reached base all 4 times he's stepped up. Somebody get some ice because someone needs to cool this kid down. The average
Oh, I like that one.
387 for Ted
Wow.
Burton.
Wow.
Speechless up here in the broadcast booth as the first pitch to Griffin Mazer goes low and in the dirt. Called ball 1. The lead, 12 runs now for the Wolverines, 12-0 here in the bottom
apparently
of the
the
6th.
lead's now 20-0, so.
Scoreboard operator having a hard time.
Well, lead is 11. That's the official lead for the Wolverines. They came in with 9 in this inning and has now hit 3 straight doubles and scored 2. So it is 11-0, but the scoreboard operator got you mixed up.
Yeah.
Not your fault.
I saw 12 and then I saw 20. I was hoping it was the latter, but I guess it was neither of those. 2-0 hitter's pitch on the way towards Griffin Mazer. He loaded up like he wanted to go after that one, but decided not to chase. Made the right decision. The count will go 3-0. Ted Burton over on second base. Look at the score for the 4th time today. Only 1 out as Griffin Mazer steps up with a 3-0 count. That one catches the outside corner, called strike 1. Again, hitter's count here for Griffin Mazer. Tito Flores awaits on deck. He's 2 for 3 on the day.
And a bit of a mental maze right now is Mazer. I know you like that one.
Yeah.
But this is a good chance to get out of that.
Big swing on the 3-1 pitch. Comes up empty. Great off speed there from Ott. The curveball just rode the outside corner for a long time and then broke towards the back foot of Griffin Mazer. After doubling his first time up in the second inning, he struck out swinging his last 2. The full count pitch, high, and he's going to head on down to first base with no damage.
He didn't even wait for the umpire's call.
Mazer now has reached base twice in this contest, and that's going to bring up Tito Flores. 2 for 3 on the day, grounded out his first time up, but since then has singled in both of his last 2. An RBI in the 3rd inning. Potential for more here with a runner on second base and also one on first. It's Burton and Mazer, respectively, and the on-deck circle is Rogers.
Tito was 1 for 4 last night, had a clutch hit in the 9th inning, and was pinch ran for Jake Marty.
Flores just gets out of the way of pitch number 1, a ball that rode inside near his chest. Ott taking his time. Finally says yes to a sign now. Settling back in the stretch. That one fastball catches the outside corner, sitting at just under 84 miles an hour. Count goes to 11. Neither runner, neither Burton nor Mazer really being held on here. Maryland's kind of giving them all the leads they want. Mazer stretched out a little bit at first. Burton's pretty tight there on bag number 2. Check swing from Flores. I'm going to say he didn't go, and the pitch was called a ball. So Tito made the right decision.
By far the best team that Logan Ott has faced this year for the freshman. He's only had 2 appearances. That one start against Northwestern we talked about. Then the other was against Minnesota. A different tale. 4 hits and allowed 3 runs just through that 1 2/3.
Flores swings on the 2-1 and follows it back into the parking lot, so count will even out for Logan Ott.
Lots of off-speed stuff so far from Logan Ott. That one was at 76. Pretty much been under 85 for most of this inning on the off-speed.
2-2s hit deep in the gap between right field and center. Burton gets on the bag. He's going to tag towards third base. The throw comes, but it's not going to make its way towards third. So Burton tags successfully. He's going to end up on third base. Mazer stays put on first. Flores pops up, but it's a productive out, moves the runner over. That's going to bring up Jordan Rogers.
Rogers lined out to the right fielder his last time up. 1 for 2 in the ball game. A single and a walk to his name today.
Deep stance from Jordan Rogers awaits the first pitch from Logan I. Big swing, fouled backwards into the net. Out in front in this one, 0-1.
Lots of patience on that one from Rogers. He had to wait a long time for that ball to cross the plate. And by the time he eventually swung, he waited a bit too long on the 76-mile-an-hour curve from Ott.
The 0-1 delivery from Ott. Curveball that just doesn't break. It's way high and outside. Langerman jumps up to grab it. Count will even out 1-1. Runners on the corners here for Jordan Rogers. 17 RBIs on the season. Potential to tack on an extra one here as he hits this one right on the line towards center field. That's going to do it for the side. But not before the Wolverines put up 2 and extend the lead to 11. As we head to the top of the 7th inning, the Wolverines are red hot.
After Aline had to get running a couple of different times in that last inning, he finally got to settle down, take 2 really easy steps to his left, and Michigan goes down. And we're finally to the 7th inning, and a game that has taken forever due to just one side. And in your opinion, what has Michigan done right in the box today?
They've been really patient. They've waited for their pitch, and you know, in situations where they've been down in the count, they've done the most they can to just fight off pitches until they can get the one that they want. We saw it a lot early with Savakul on the mound that they had a few hits where they just kind of let his velocity be the downfall of himself. They didn't try to do too much. And aside from that absolutely monstrous home run from Ted Burton, I don't think there's been too many balls that were hit on the screws. I mean, there have been a lot of doubles. They've just been really well-placed pieces of contact hitting.
Lots of gap shots for the Wolverines, and as they have their little parade in left field, we're almost ready to go here from the top of the 7th inning with 45 seconds showing left on the middle of the inning clock, and we're almost to the stretch. Maryland will lead off with Troy Streffler, Riley Langerman, and Chris Bubba Aline, who just made the last catch in that last inning.
We've mentioned it a few times, but the speed of Aline is just something to marvel at. 22 stolen bases on the season. Desperation time here for Maryland.
Right, they need to chip away and chip away quick. As they trail by 11, Michigan has out-hit the Terps 13-3. Maryland was charged with 1 error, which didn't really do much damage, just pushed 1 Michigan runner from first to second base. It was charged to the starting pitcher, Jason Savakul. But Troy Streffler will lead off the inning. This is the 10th outing for Dragani. First one is in the dirt. Fastball sat at 87.5. Ben Dragani already better than his last outing, in which he did not record an out against Michigan State back on May 9th. Allowed 3 hits, 2 earned runs, and he walked 2. He skips another one in, this time an 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and Michigan's got a little bit of action down there in the bullpen. From what we can see, it's number 47, Jacob Denner, who, well, he's a starting pitcher, and he starts tomorrow, so I don't think he's going to be throwing today.
Yeah, just staying a little loose down there. I mean, he's been sitting for what is now the past 2.5 hours as the clock ticks past 7:30.
Hitters count completely now for Streffler. That last pitch was high and outside, 3-0 against Dragani. This one's well inside, almost scraped the kneecaps of Streffler, and on 4 straight pitches, he'll take a jog down to first base, and Maryland's got their leadoff guy on in the top of the 7th.
Dragani maybe just trying to overthrow a little bit there. He missed on all of his fastballs, and each one was a little bit harder than the last.
Riley Langerman will now take the plate. He's in danger of going under 100 on the average this year. He's even with it right now. That ball almost clipped the inside part of the plate. It's called for a ball, 5 straight from Dragani.
Dragani just needs to settle in now. There's not too much pressure on him as your team holds an 11-run lead. You've got that in your back pocket. Just want to get through these innings so you don't have to go to the bullpen because you still have another game tomorrow.
There's another one outside. It's another ball, 6 straight now from Dragani. And I think the case so far in this inning for him is he's trying to overthrow. That last pitch was honestly the best one that I've seen in the inning. Other ones he's skipped inside and have been low and have been high 80s, almost 90. Mazur will now go and have a conversation with him as he skips another one in. This one was at 89 miles an hour. Counts now 3-0 against him, in danger of walking his second straight batter on 8 straight pitches.
Dragani just needs to take a deep breath and kind of settle in here.
And you figure if this game's maybe a little bit closer, Rob Vaughn, Maryland's skipper, could have opted to go to Justin Vogt, who homered twice off Wolverine pitching last night. But he sticks with Langerman. On the 3-0 pitch, he misses inside.
Langerman kind of second-guessed himself there. He started walking, then stopped to make sure it was call the ball, then tossed the bat and headed on down to first base.
Home plate umpires certainly don't appreciate when batters do not take their time to get out of the box for a walk. What's going on with the softball team?
In the bottom of the 5th inning, there's one out. Washington is up at the plate. That game's still tied at 0-0. The pitcher's battle continues.
Chris Aline takes the plate for the Terps. Dragani throws his first strike of the inning. 8 balls in this inning so far in the top of the 7th. That's the first strike. Michigan will now start to get a little bit of stir out there in the bullpen down the left field line. The 0-1 from Dragani to Aline. There's a high fly ball deep left field. Tito Flores looks up and that ball is gone. And Maryland's on the board for the first time here tonight, and the smallest player on the team for Maryland will plate the first 3 runs, score 11-3.
Exit velocity of 104.64. That ball from Aline absolutely crushed over the left field wall. He was 0 for 3 on the day, stepping up to the plate just then, and that one big swing cuts the lead to just 8.
Now there's a talk between home plate umpire Harry Greer and a couple of Terps as they walk back to their dugout. Matt Shaw will now be the batter for the Terps. May have been a little bit of jawing between Troy Schreffler and Griffin Mazur as the 8th homer of the season for Chris Aline, the senior, 2nd in homers on the team. And as Dragani throws another strike, he's found the strike zone, but unfortunately Aline took advantage of it and is now tabbed 3 more RBIs to his name. Here's a ground ball towards Sems at the short. Throws across his body. Good throw over to Overtop. And down goes the first out in the inning. That'll bring up Ben Cowles.
As crazy as it might sound, that home run seems to kind of reset Dragani. He got those base runners off that he walked, and now he's just settling back in. That was a good at-bat that he just threw to Shaw, and that will bring up Cowles.
And honestly, you never want the lead that you have, especially with the lead Michigan has, to be chipped away. But with still an 8-run difference, you know, it's just about Dragani getting back on track as he rolls one third base side towards Malfetta, well foul, and another shout out to Dylan Stanton as he runs out some balls to the home plate umpire.
Yeah, you never want things to start to spiral, but like you said, the 8-run lead is still pretty comfortable. When a borderline blowout like this, you don't want to expend too many pitchers from your bullpen, especially when you have another game tomorrow.
The 0-1 pitch is chopped towards the second baseman. Burton throws over to Overtop, and after 3 straight guys get on base, including that Aline home run, he sits down 2 in a row, Shaw and then Cowles, and that'll bring up Randy Bednar Jr.
Bednar 0 for 2 on the day. Walked back in the first inning for his only time on base.
11-3 lead here for the Wolverines in the top half of the 7th. A big game to try and win for Michigan to put themselves in sole possession of second place in the Big Ten. 2 weekends left. There's a big wave and a miss from Bednar. A bit of an uneasy swing for him as it was a breaking ball low in the zone.
Yeah, that one just got him off balance. Dragani doing a nice job of stopping. He was overthrowing for a minute. Has since refined that back, has relied on his off-speed stuff.
Here's a shot towards Malfetta. Scoops it up, throws across his body. A good eagle pickup over to Overtop. And after allowing the 3-run homer, a great job by Dragani. It looked like a whole different pitcher in the second half of that inning.
The home run kind of grounded Dragani there. He looked real shaken up after throwing 8 straight balls to walk the first 2 batters. Lets up the home run to clear the bases, and it seemed to kind of settle him back down. We're going to head to the bottom of the 7th inning. After the 7th inning stretch, it's going to be 9th and top for Michigan. Velasquez, then Malfetta, then Elliott.
And now for the Terrapins, it's more about getting some young guys some experience on the mound. Michigan leads this one 11-3, and the game's not over. They still have 6 outs and 2 frames to try and get it done. Michigan came back from down 8 last night, and it's doable. And Michigan did it from the 7th on to come back into the game and tie it to send it to extras. And now Maryland is 2-0 in extra innings this season. But Logan Ott goes back out there on the mound. A two-way player, can bat and can pitch. But his line right now is 2/3 innings pitched, allowed 2 hits, 1 walk, and has 1 earned run. And I believe Michigan scored 2 more runs in that last inning that could have been credited to Ott's name, but they ended up going to Hine instead.
Yeah, tough break if you're Hine. But here we go. Velasquez stepping up to the plate now, 1 for 3 on the day. The average has dropped back under 300 at 286. Had a 2 RBI double back in the 2nd inning.
The hero from last night will step into the left-handed batter's box. And I'll tell you, one of the coolest things I've seen was a celebration from his parents literally right in front of the broadcast booth last night.
Yeah, you love to see parents being able to celebrate their kids.
Especially with full capacity coming back at the College World Series, regionals and super regionals. There will be full capacity at those games. Exciting to hear. First pitch to Velasquez is a hook in there for a strike. 0-1 count on the designated hitter for the Wolverines. Here's a chop towards the left side. Shortstop Cowles picks it up. Good scoop at first base by Orlando, and down goes Velasquez.
That was a ground out, but Velasquez hit it hard. That linebacker power making its way through onto the baseball field.
Christian Malfetta, a frustrating day, is 0 for 4. Has grounded out to the third baseman, second baseman, and has struck out twice. He'll look to right those wrongs here today in the bottom of the 7th. Takes a ball outside. Stat line from yesterday's game from Malfetta. He was 2 for 6, and he also struck out twice in that one. He'll take a ball just high.
Malfetta, the only Wolverine on the day without a hit at 0 for 4.
This may be his last opportunity to do so and at least get on base. It's a 3-0 count for him now. Complete hitter's control. Ott, who works from the furthest right side of the mound, tosses to Malfetta. There's another pitch just outside, and the strike zone seems to be shrinking by the inning for Harry Greer. But down to first base goes Malfetta, and that'll bring up Clark Elliott with 1 out.
So Malfetta finally reaches base in his 5th plate appearance of the day. Clark Elliott, on the other hand, 2 for 4 with 2 singles in the 3rd and the 4th innings. If Michigan wants to go deep into the College World Series, they're going to have to get Christian Malfetta going at the plate. The average has dropped under 300. Still sitting at 292, which is by no means bad and actually very respectable.
Clark takes a strike. It's an 0-1 count against him. The second one, big wave and a miss from number 15. The left-hander is now down 0-2 against the left-handed thrower, Logan Ott.
One out, one runner on is set to deliver the 0-2.
Here's a pitch just outside and a front door breaking ball. Almost backwards Cade Elliott, who's 2 for 4 on the afternoon. As he'll still have life, it's a 1-2 count with one out here in the bottom of the 7th. One runner on. It's Malfetta, the first time he's reached. Here's a swing and a pop-up foul heading towards the awning on the left side, and we'll skip in the parking lot and smack the side of Yost Ice Arena.
Looks like it might have hit the light pole on its way over there. Took an awkward little spin. Count still sits at 1-2 for Clark Elliott. He's in plate protection mode.
Here's one outside, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly where catcher Riley Langerman wanted it, as he shakes his head yes towards Logan Ott. Count's now even at 2-2. Big leg kick delivery from Ott. Here's an oppo shot left field, well foul.
Off the light pole.
And that hits the light pole again.
Bounces back in to the Michigan bullpen.
Jack White tried to make a barehanded play, but it seemed to have slipped right by his hand.
Don't be doing that down in the bullpen.
You're a pitcher.
Exactly.
Elliott stays alive again. Here's another hook for a ball. And Logan Ott looked right on with the curveball back in the bottom of the 6th. Michigan was hammering his fastball, but now he seemed to have missed a bit. The full count pitch. That's ball 4, and Michigan now has runners at first and second, 2 straight walks for the Wolverines.
An emphatic bat toss over towards the Michigan dugout from Clark Elliott.
It seemed like he was waiting for the call from Greer, like he may ring him up, but no, Jimmy Overtop now takes the plate for the Wolverines. He's got a chance to do some damage. He's walked and doubled and singled in today's ball game. Good day for the 3-hole hitter for Michigan. Here's a swing and a towering fly ball. Not moving a step is Schreffler in right field. Tagging up to go to third is Malfetta. He'll reach standing up. The throw into the cutoff man, Shaw. And with 2 outs, it's turned for Benjamin Sems.
Just to show how high that ball was hit by Jimmy Overtop, Malfetta just stood in place, heels flat on the ground, and watched it for a good 3 seconds before heading back to second base to tag up. Benjamin Sems has reached both of his last 2 times up and scored in both of those. Walked in the 4th inning and was brought all the way around. Had a RBI double in his last time up in the 6th.
The 3-4 hitters for the Wolverines, or the 4-5, rather. Sems batting .340, and Burton's now .380.
Yeah.
So how about the 4-5 hitters?
.387.
Wow.
Yeah, wow was right.
That ball made the turf jump up a little bit. It's a 1-0 count against Benjamin Sems, a transfer from Kansas. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and right over our heads. And it hits the ceiling right above us.
If this awning wasn't there, I had a souvenir.
I would have had to fight you for it, but it's a 1-1 count. It's been a while since I've gotten a souvenir at a ball game. Last time was probably a Lugnuts game. They practically give them out there at Jackson Field. 1-1 count against Sems. Big leg kick from Ott again. Curveball again misses. He's been way off with that pitch here in the inning.
Yeah, he struggled with his command since entering this ball game. Got rocked around a little bit early and has since fallen off a little bit. The count sits 2-1.
Here's the pitch from Ott. Swinging a high fly ball deep right field. Schreffler going back, looks up at the track. That ball is gone. And it's a 3-run shot for Benjamin Sems, who tallies his 6th on the season. 30 total RBIs. Now for the Michigan shortstop. We talked about the power from the shortstop position earlier, and he gets it done yet again. Michigan, 3 more runs in the bottom of the 7th inning.
The lead now back up to 11. Back up to 11. Michigan just can't be stopped on the offensive end right now.
All gas, no brakes for the Wolverines. The quote you hear, making sure the foot is on the throttle and not letting it off the throat of the opposition. Michigan doing just that, and Logan Ott doesn't want to see this guy either. Ted Burton steps into the box. He's 3 for 3 in the ballgame.
Just as Benjamin Sems hits that 3-run home run, Lou Allen hits a solo shot in the Michigan softball game for the first run of that ball game in the top of the 6th.
How about it? Go Blue. 0-1 count against Burton. That one skips in. It's a 1-1 count. Burton in the second inning doubled. Third inning, he was hit by the pitch in the helmet. Next time up, he saw one go right by his nose, then hit a homer and doubled in his last time up. And this one may get down 2, but Aline comes in with the blazing speed and makes a good catch. And Burton right on the screws. Just happens to hit it right to him. Michigan tallies 3 more in the bottom of the 7th inning off the bat of Benjamin Sems. And it's a 14-3 lead. The Wolverines rolling in Ann Arbor in the second of 3.
Yeah, Ted Burton can't get his 4th hit of the game. Unfortunately, now just a measly 3 for 4 in today's contest with 2 doubles and a home run.
How could he?
How dare he? That timing was just fantastic with the Benjamin Sems home run. As we watched him stomp on home plate, I looked down and I'm watching Lou Allen round third base after hitting her solo shot. Ben Dragani will come back out for another inning of action. After giving up the 3-run home run, he seemed to calm him down a little bit. Walked the first 2 batters of that inning on 8 straight pitches. Let up the 3-run home, as I said, and then knocked out the next few batters. It's 5, 6, 7. Schliger, Orlando, and Gardner.
Tito Flores not really caring much for his teammates out there in left field. Steps right through him as the outfielders decide to throw it around a bit.
Michigan bench laying in a big circle, foot to foot in their left field antics.
No start yet from Indiana and Nebraska tonight. The Huskers took the first game of 2 last night by a score of 8-5, and Luke Schliger will lead off the inning for the Terps. It's a 14-3 lead for Michigan, out hitting Maryland 14-4. Maryland with 1 charged error, as we are set for you, Charlie Brigham, in the top of the 8th inning.
Schliger a single in his last time up back in the 6th inning, one of just 4 hits for the Terrapins, as opposed to Michigan's 14 on their 14 runs.
Ooh.
He swings at the first pitch, a curveball that hit the dirt a good 2 feet before the plate.
And that was a curveball that Dragani let go way late. He was way in front of himself, and the ball just skipped into Mazer, and Schliger was fooled.
Pitch number 2, a called strike on the outside half. Dragani is locked back in.
It's like those 8 balls that went right by Maryland batters in the last inning just have ceased to exist.
The 0-2 from Dragani just missing low for ball number 1. I keep mentioning, but it is a tournament game. Taylor Bump knocks in another home run back-to-back, her and Lou Allen, to extend the lead 2-0 out in Seattle for the softball team. The 1-2 rather, hit a soft line drive to left field, so Schliger 2 hits in a row, back-to-back singles for him. And Maryland's got a base runner on with nobody out.
So Schliger stays alive on the ball called just outside. You and I both thought he would have been rung up looking there, but nonetheless, he's on base. Maryland's got their leadoff guy on.
Going to need to put together something here. They've got down to just their last 6 outs, and they're down 11 here in the top of the 8th inning.
Well, we thought 8 was a lot last night. Now you have to look back at 11 up on the scoreboard in right field, and I wish we could see the sunset in the background. What a view that would be.
I know. That's about the only thing that can make this view any better. The 1-0 pitch from Dragani rides inside and hits Orlando. So maybe flashbacks of what we saw last inning. The first 2 batters reach. That's going to bring up Gardner.
Tommy Gardner does have power. He has 4 homers on the season. He bats .256, so looking to pad the stats a little bit here for Gardner. Batting out of that 7th slot. With no outs in the inning, it'll be 7, 8, 9. And thus Michigan rolls a couple double plays and gets out of the inning.
Dragani settling in. Has the ball behind his back in the left hand. Take a quick step off. Now steps right back on and settles in. Nods yes to the sign. Checks the runner on second base. Now to delivery. Hit hard on the ground towards Sems. Flips it over to second base. Routine double play from Burton, and they get it.
That was one of the hottest ground balls that's been hit all night, and the man who just hit a 3-run dinger to right field, Sems played that perfectly, right into the gut, let the ball roll into his glove as he now drops the glove down, maybe showing exactly where he got hit on the wrist, trying to tell me he got hit in the wrist instead of the stomach there, but good play, good roll, good relay.
Yeah, he's got our broadcast in an AirPod over there at shortstop and just wanted to show you up a little bit. 2 outs, runner on third base. First pitch from Dragani over towards the hitter is inside. Count goes 1-0.
Schreffler's the first guy this season I've seen with the longest last name that doesn't fit on the scoreboard in right field. There's no R. It tripped me up yesterday.
Yeah, no R on stat broadcast either. Takes a big swing on the 1-0 count. Sits at 1-1 now.
I think I'm going to trust the official team site.
I would go ahead with that as well.
And the official roster.
If it's got official in the name, it's probably right. The 1-1. Fastball rides just inside. Dragani ramped up the velocity a little bit. That one's sitting at 84 miles an hour. Maryland now down to just their last 4 outs, unless they tack on 11 more runs and we go into extra innings. This one hit hard on the ground towards Sems. Fields it to his forehand.
Beautiful glove work.
Oh, my lordy. Flips the hips and throws it sidearm across the diamond. Benjamin Sems having himself a day. The 3-run home run and follows it up with 2 very nice defensive plays. We're headed to the bottom of the 8th inning. Michigan looking for some more insurance runs here. The lead is 11, and we are going to have a pitching change. So Logan Ott, his day is done.
His official line will be 1 2/3 innings pitched. He allowed 3 hits, one of them a home run, but 4 home runs, 4 total runs, 3 base on balls. He only faced 11 batters, so 7 of those 11 reached base for the Wolverines.
It is going to be Gavin Stelpflug stepping up onto the mound right now. He's only appeared in 3 games. He's thrown 1 2/3 innings. An ERA of 27.
27, but it's only been 3 appearances for Stelpflug. He's all right. Made his season debut out of the bullpen against Rutgers one day after my birthday, March 13th.
My birthday is
It was
March
forever
14th.
ago.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Learning something new every day.
Well, I'm sure you and I have plenty of calls down the road, and who knows, maybe if we're able to travel in a couple of years down south to call some of these games, we'll have to celebrate a birthday down there.
Dude, I'm totally down. Can't wait to get traveling again. Stelpflug, the right-hander, so swapping back over from Logan Ott. Sitting in the middle of the 8th inning here, Michigan leads 14-3 out in Seattle. In the middle of the 6th inning, the Wolverines hold a 2-0 lead over the Washington Huskies.
That'll be an upset. Michigan may be a bit underseeded, but still an upset nonetheless. Michigan with 4 more games on the schedule for the rest of the season. Tomorrow they play at home against Maryland. That will be a 1 o'clock first pitch. You can catch that on Big Ten Network Plus, or you could listen to our lovely broadcasters, and Charlie, you'll be on that one again tomorrow.
That I will be.
This will be my last Michigan game of the season. I'm a bit upset, but it's a good way to end it. Friday, Saturday cap. Had a great game last night. Couldn't believe the ending of that ball game with Velasquez's 2 RBIs, but here we go.
Yeah, albeit a little long, exciting all the way through. It's going to be Christian Bullock appearing for the first time today. The senior stepping into that left-handed batter's box. On deck is Jake Marty. So Michigan going to the reinforcements here in the bottom of the 8th inning, up 11 runs. First pitch on the way from Stelflug. Fastball way high at 93 miles an hour, ball 1.
Christian Bullock in his 5th year from Chicago, Illinois, stands at 5'10", 175, and was on that College World Series team for Michigan. A lot less action for him as years have gone on.
Second pitch, another fastball high, this one at 92 miles an hour, so Bullock has a 2-0 hitters count here. Pitch on the way. Fastball catches the inside corner. So 3 straight fastballs from Stelflug. Yet to see any off speed. The 2-1, another fastball low and away, misses. So it'll be a 3-1 hitters count once more.
Bullock pinch hitting for Griffin Mazur, and I'm almost positive that Bullock is not going to be behind the plate for the Wolverines now.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. It's an 11-run game as he ropes the 3-1 foul down the right field line. It's going to be a full count here for
I will say playing like Little League compared to catching a college baseball at 93 miles an hour is a bit different.
Just a little bit. Christian Bullock watches pitch number 6 go by. For ball 4, he's going to head on harmlessly down to first base. That's going to bring up Jake Marty.
Well, we could probably just see a change between center field and catcher here, as Jordan Rogers will more than likely go to catcher. That's what he's listed as on the team website. Bullock is an outfielder. So we'll see the defensive substitutions here in an inning.
Pitch number 1 to Marty. First off speed we've seen from Stelflug. Low and outside, though. It'll be ball 1.
Jake Marty, a JUCO transfer, spending his time now in Ann Arbor.
Pitch number 2, fastball outside. It'll be a 2-0 hitters count for Jake Marty when he steps back in. Marty listed as a switch hitter, currently situated in the left-handed batter's box. 2-0 on the way, catches the outside corner. That one a fastball. Little bit outside, looked like from up here, but it is an 11-run ball game.
Mr. Greer wants to get out of here.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit late. It's 8 o'clock. He's been here for 3 hours. Big swing from Marty on the 2-1. It'll even out 2-2. Marty, 5 doubles on the year on 12 hits. Settling in for the 2-2. 1 runner on, nobody out, and he swaves at that one and comes up empty. First strikeout from Stelflug. Great fastball pitch there.
Well, Rogers will come up to bat, so it means he'll stay in the game. And then Joey Velasquez is also on deck, so he'll take what could be the last hacks for the Wolverines here in the bottom of the 8th inning, assuming Maryland doesn't plate 11 runs, but you never know. College baseball. That's why you play the game.
Swings on the first pitch and hits it down the line. They're going to call it foul. That one
Real
about
close.
as close as you can get.
Pretty sure if it was a dirt field, you would have saw some chalk pop up in the air as it rode down the line for forever before Gardner picked it up.
Probably would have slowed it down, too. That might be a hit on a dirt field. Rogers 1 for 3 on the day. Walked his first time up in the 2nd inning and scored. Followed that up with a 2 RBI single. And his next time up, chops this one on the ground towards second base. Shaw flips it over to first for out number 2. The runner will advance, so Bullock on second base. Rogers grounds out, but it's a productive out as Joey Velasquez steps up to the plate now.
Well, with great speed at second base and Christian Bullock, a hit almost anywhere will score him off the bat of Joey Velasquez.
His Trophies by Drake plays over the speakers.
Good song.
Great song.
This blowout material means you have to ask who the best artist is right now. What's your opinion?
Right now?
Right now.
That's a very good question. You listen to J. Cole's new album?
I have.
I enjoyed it. He's enjoying his time over in Africa playing professional basketball.
Hey, good
over
for him
there.
chasing his dreams, though, man.
Absolutely. He can do what he wants. First pitch to Joey Velasquez. Rides up in the zone for ball one. In the on deck circle is Riley Bertram. He will pinch hit for Malfetta if he steps up to the plate. Malfetta is having a rough go of it today, 0 for 4.
He did walk in his last at bat. Something to look back on that he did well.
It'll be a 2-0 hitters count for Joey Velasquez when he steps back in. Looks back at the umpire and gets kind of caught off guard, but the pitch rides up in the zone for ball number 3, a fastball up by the eyes.
Now, I will say I would love to see, I don't think it's going to happen, but Willie Weiss come in a game like this where it's an 11-point spread, 11 run, as Velasquez sees a strike. But I would have liked Willie Weiss to come in. The last couple times he's been out there, 2 different appearances, both against the Hoosiers last week. Only 1/3 innings pitched in 2 appearances, allowed 1 hit, but he walked a ton of batters and hit multiple as well.
Velasquez watches the 3-1 pitch on the outside corner for a called strike. The count now full. Full count, 2 outs, and a runner on second base. Michigan just 3 outs away from closing this one out. Runner goes, and he swings and a miss, and we're going to head to the top of the 9th inning. Michigan goes scoreless in bottom 8. But as I just said moments ago, 3 outs away from closing this one out here at Ray Fisher Stadium.
To lead off the Terps half of the inning, it'll be Riley Langerman, Chris Aline, and Matt Shaw bearing any changes for the Terps. But Michigan looks like they're going to throw Dragani as he'll make the slow, anticipating walk out to the hill. And talk about slow walk, a step about every second.
Yeah, he was taking his time strutting out there and now picks up the pace.
Well, it will be Dragani. So far in today's game, he's tossed 2 2/3, allowed 2 hits, 3 runs. He's walked 2. He's gotten into jams in both innings, and he allowed that 3 spot in the top half of the 7th inning. And talk about Cameron Weston, man. What a night for him. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs. He walked 3, but he also struck out 6 among 23 batters faced. And that's the kind of start that Michigan needs him to have moving forward into the postseason.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We said it a few times in our past broadcasts, heading into the postseason, you know, Michigan likes to use their bullpen, and they've got plenty of guys out there in the bullpen who can get jobs done. But when you have your starters that can get you through, 5 or 6 innings in a 9-inning game, that is absolutely huge. And to do it with the efficiency and finesse that Weston did, I mean, you can't ask for more out of the guy.
Well, we don't have official changes yet, but it looks like Jordan Rogers will be behind the plate. So good call by me there. Jordan Rogers goes from center field to behind the plate. Christian Bullock will go from the bench to center field, and Jake Marty will do the same. He'll replace Tito Flores. And pinch hitting for Maryland will be number 43, Austin Chavis.
Christian Bullock in center field, Jake Marty in left. Clark Elliott's still over in right field, and Riley Bertram is taking the place of Ted Burton at second base.
Only 3 games played this season for Chavis. He started 10 games at second base in the shortened 2020 season, but then along came Matt Shaw, who's one of the best freshmen in the country, nonetheless the Big Ten. Chavis fouls one off to the screen, 0-1 count. He's only had 5 at-bats all year with 1 hit. He struck out in 2 of those 5 at-bats. Close stance, bat resting on the right shoulder. Big wave and a miss. A good arm side changeup from Dragani there. Quickly ahead 0-2 here in the top of the 9th inning.
I like the aggressive swing from Chavis right there. I mean, you're down by 11 runs. Why not try to go big?
There's another big swing and a miss, and down goes Chavis. 1 up, 1 down for Dragani here in the top of the 9th.
Really no harm there from Chavis. I mean, you've only had 5 at-bats all season. If you go yard there, you might earn yourself a few more at-bats down the line.
Michael Bouma will now pinch hit for the Terps. He'll pinch hit in place of Chris Aline, the leadoff hitter for Maryland. First pitch swinging towards Sems at short. Got to scoop it up, and he's unable to do so. Fakes the throw across the turf, but third baseman Walfetta will scoop it up and toss it in. And on first is Buma. And another substitution will be Kevin Keister will now pinch hit for the Terps.
That one is going to go down as a hit. That's a tough play by Benjamin Sems to come up and try to field that one. A do-or-die kind of play. Buma hit that one so hard into the ground that it went a good probably 30 feet into the air. And Sems had to come up and try to play the ball before it played him. Just glances off the bottom of the glove.
First one is a ball. It's a 1-0 count. Buma got a pretty good-sized lead against the left-hander Dragani. Here's the 1-0. The 1-0 will ride high, and Keister's ahead 2-0.
Michigan now just 2 outs away from closing out this contest in commanding fashion.
There's a big wave and a miss from Keister. The count is now 2-1. So 3 straight pinch hitters for the Terps. Keister now at the plate now.
The 2-1.
That one swung on and chopped towards the Michigan dugout. Not much action for him over there tonight. Going to scoop it up is freshman Ian Kennedy. We've talked about those freshman duties that they have. Well, it looks like Washington's made it a 1-run game over there.
Yeah, Washington tallied back with a home run of their own. The lead for Michigan now just 1 run out in Seattle. It sits 2-1 in the top of the 7th inning.
The 2-2 to Keister. Skipped in there. Good block by Mazer. Boma would have been running if it was a wild pitch. I guess back there now is Rogers. Mazer's now out of the game.
Back there behind the plate. I love these big aggressive swings from these guys coming in from Maryland. I mean, there's really no point in going up there if you're not going to try to make something exciting happen.
There's another big swing, but it's well oppo out of the field of play. And with the 2-2 count, they're really trying to prove something to manager Rob Vaughn to try and get some, what you typically say, minutes, but some at-bats down the line here, some playing time for the bench players for Maryland.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, for a guy like Chavis who came in and
there's a ground ball to the third baseman. That'll be Burton over to the second baseman, Bertram. Lots of substitutions. They get the 5-4-3 double play, and Michigan wins today's ball game by a score of 14-3. They out-hit the Terps 14-6. Maryland tagged with 1 error. And how about that?
I mean, that was just an absolute offensive bombardment by the Wolverines. They couldn't be stopped. Clark Elliott went 2 for 4, Obertop 2 for 4, Sems 2 for 4, Ted Burton went 3 for 4. Like, these guys just couldn't be stopped. Velasquez added in another double of his own to stay hot.
Yeah, and Velasquez may have now earned a lot more playing time down the stretch for the Wolverines. And Cameron Weston will get the win here today. He now improves to 6-3, and dropping to 7-2 on the season is Jason Savakul. So 7-1 down to 7-2, and Dragani will get the save for the Wolverines. And a fantastic job of Dragani to come in and do exactly what he did. He threw 3 2/3. We'll quickly recap the Michigan pitching statistics. Weston pitched 5 1/3, allowed 3 hits, no runs. He walked 3. He also hit 2, but he struck out 6. And then Ben Dragani came in. He threw 3 2/3 innings, allowed 3 hits, 3 runs on 1 home run by Aline, walked 2, struck out 1. And then on the opposite side, for Maryland, well, not necessarily the day that their starter Savakul wanted. 2 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 runs, walked 2, and struck out 1. And then multiple different arms were used down the stretch. Stelflug was the only one that didn't allow a run, as the others were tagged with 4 runs each. What did Michigan do right today?
I mean, as we mentioned a few times throughout the broadcast, they were patient at the plate. They didn't do too much. Maryland very rarely got them to chase outside of the zone. Even when they were down on the count, they just, dug in. They choked up on the bat. They would get closer to the plate and just fight off pitch after pitch after pitch until they got the one they wanted. We saw that with one of Jimmy Overtop's first at-bats, one of the hits he tallied. Was down 0-2 early, eventually worked it out to 2-2 after fouling off about 4 pitches and then tallied a single into right field. I mean, that just hard, gritty baseball from Michigan. And in the end, that stuff pays off, and especially when you have a guy like Ted Burton who has a day like the day he had today.
And I'll tell you what, Michigan is now a full game ahead of Maryland in the standings, and Indiana currently trailing 2-0 against Nebraska. So Michigan has to continue to chase the Cornhuskers as they prepare for a 3-game set in Lincoln next week. And they'll have the chance to do it for themselves, but not before tomorrow's matchup. Sean Burke will be on the mound for Maryland. He's 3-3 with a 3.90 ERA against Michigan's Jacob Denner, who we covered last week in a fantastic start. He was 4-3, 3.86 ERA with 49 innings pitched. He struck out 50 guys. And Michigan tomorrow, what do you think they have to do now to stay hot and win again tomorrow on Sunday?
Obviously, when you have a great day at the plate, you're going to want to be aggressive in your next time up, but that can't be their goal. We saw them have success at the plate today because they were patient, because they, fought through those long at-bats and weren't just going up there swinging for the fences. I think we saw the downfall of some hitters today, like Christian Malfede, who was up there, and you could see that he was just visibly frustrated at the plate after going, 0 for 3, 0 for 4, and he was just taking big hacks and coming up empty. Just stay in your lane, do what you need to do, and the hits will come.
Big day from Ted Burton, and we played this last week, Charlie. What's your number for the game?
I mean, it's got to be 3, just because of Ted Burton. I mean, 3 for 4 on the day, 2 doubles, a 3-run home run that might have cleared the atmosphere. I don't know if that ball's landed yet.
The stratosphere is keeping the ball up there. Michigan also scored 3 runs in 4 different innings.
I mean, it's just there. It's all across the board.
So Michigan's Ted Burton goes 3 for 4. Semmes has 2 hits. Flores with 2 hits. Elliott with 2 and Overtop with 2. Rogers, Velasquez, and Mazer all with 1. Michigan wins it 14-3. They out-hit the Terps 14-6. Maryland tabbed with 1 error. And that's going to do it. From WCBN Ann Arbor, me and my partner, Charlie Brigham, I'm Zach Linfield. Thank you guys so much for listening, and
good night and go blue. Best
good night
of luck
and go
to the
blue.
Michigan softball team as they try to close it out.